What's up, bro? What's up? Ain't see none of y'all.
Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered.
You did not come to college to do marching band. Marching band may be helping pay for you to go to school, but at the end of the day, you're there to study music education.
Unscripted.
Priorities are wrong from the elementary perspective because we're not introducing students to music in an adequate program early enough.
Uncomfortable.
We black. The blacks, yes, you're gonna be overlooked if you're not producing, if you're not hanging with the cane, if you're not pumping, if you're not blowing, if you're not busting, if you're not entertaining, if you're not on that top level, if you're not in the high stats of visibility, yes, you're going to be overlooked because at the end of the day, we, the blacks, don't care.
Conversation. All right. All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Let me go on ahead and introduce the panel that we have so far. We got Quan.
What's up, everybody?
We got Larian. And we got Cushion. All right, man. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. I know there's a lot of people who are supposed to be coming in, and we'll give them time to do that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and start the show the way we always start the show. We're talking about everything that has happened in music and band and all that kind of jazz. So we'll start to my right. Quan, what have you seen? What's been going on? What you been having going on in this music and band world right now, bro?
Oh man, I just been swamped over here getting prepared for Prairie View has an in and out day for band, concert and marching band, and so we're going to be going to Prairie View next week, playing some concert pieces. We're playing Contempo, as well as we're playing another piece called African Sketches. working on some fundamentals, techniques, advanced things. So I'm excited about it overall. That's really what I've been bogged down with. This is my favorite time of the year, but of course, for band directors, it's the busiest time of the year. And in my opinion, one of the most important times of the year, concert season.
Absolutely. So good luck on that, and congratulations on all the work that you're doing to get prepared for that. I know what those feelings are. All right. Larian, man, anything that you caught, anything that's going on in this music and band world?
Been seeing a lot of good concert scores from a lot of people that I know personally, and other people who I don't know. Been seeing a lot of people really push. They're not getting enough notoriety for it. A lot of people have been doing their due diligence, during this concert season. I've been seeing a lot of people getting ones. A lot of people, with the pandemic and everybody having to start over or, do everything. Some people still push towards, having a total program. And we as well, Stephen and Foster, we're preparing for our spring concert that's going to be in May. So we're trying to push forward with that and everything as well. Just congratulations to everybody out there. I know a couple of colleges had their concerts as well. I've seen Jackson State have I think a percussion concert not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. I know North Carolina A&T, Dr. Lawhorn, I know they did something as well. Just been a lot of pushing there. I just hope that we got the same notoriety. Been seeing a lot of people pushing summer band already, but the real people that are teaching, we still at square one, trying to get our kids where we need them to be for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of people up and down my timeline, man, who have gotten superior ratings, excellent ratings, and even good ratings. We're not even gonna throw them out, because that means that shows growth. That shows that they took the advantage of getting it done. And it is what it is, man. But I definitely want to say congratulations, just like you, to all of those people who have actually participated in the festival and UIL. Man, good luck to, not good luck, but congratulations to you and your program and all that you've been doing. All right, Cushion, what's up? What you got for us, bro? You on mute.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? You can hear me now?
Got you.
All right, great. All right, so again, kind of piggybacking off of Quan, I come up there pretty much every day, and I witness his concert band. Concert band is kicking. Billion Pair Sticks Club is gearing up for a couple of drum competitions where I'll be a vendor there. New merch is on the way. Got a lot of schools that's been in my inbox. You seen what I did with Talladega. I got a couple of other schools that's been getting at me. So that's what I'm preparing for, and that's what's new in my world.
Man, absolutely, man. I've seen a couple. Well, maybe they already had it. A couple of drum shows that were supposed to be happening soon, but maybe they already had it. Maybe I'm behind. I'm not.
It's time to get you in some merch.
Man, hey, send me some. I got you.
Let's figure. You're a drummer. At least you want to be. That's why we got 2 shows.
Absolutely. No, y'all got 2 shows because it was really good. Y'all had information, but yeah, man, send me one. I'll get it and take pictures with my little sticks that I got over here. I'll play for a couple flam taps. They won't be trash. They be all right. So hey, I got you.
It's all good,
man. Let me go ahead and welcome my brother Mario in here. What's going on, brother?
What up, though?
What up, though? It's good to be back, man. What's good with everybody?
Man, we good, brother. How about yourself?
Man, I'm kicking, man. I'm living a dream, man.
Dream. I see you got your gear on right now. You looking straight out of above the rim?
Oh, no. That's this actually
Got you.
That's another black-owned company, bro.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Mario, since you in here, brother, then what you got? Anything happening musically? Anything that you've been privy to this week?
Man, just preparing my students. We're on spring break right now, but I'm preparing my students for International Jazz Day, April 30th, up here in New Jersey. New Jersey Performing Arts Center will be performing for International Jazz Day, and then on the 29th we have a performance for WBGO, which is the oldest jazz station in America here in Newark. So I'm excited about that, man. Just keeping busy, man. You know, if you don't see me, you know, my hands is always in something, man. I'm always active, always going.
Pause. If I don't see your hands, always
Nope. No pause, bro. Mm-mm.
All right, okay. All right, hey, you're right. No pause on that. But no, if I don't see you, I know I'm gonna see you twinkling toes and on some Instagram video. Saxophone.
You already know. You know how we do.
Already, man. But I do want to go ahead and acknowledge what Donald said. Absolutely, congratulations to the Marching Maroon and White for being invited to march in the 2023 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, man. 100%, man. So that's definitely a great thing. I want to make sure that we acknowledge them as well, man.
Shout out for sure.
Super dope. All right, I think we got one more in here. There we go. What's going on, Tay?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Man, we good, brother. So you just joining us. So what's happening musically with you, brother? Any good things that you didn't heard or been privy to?
Man, I honestly been waist deep in my own program, man. So trying to get right. My drumline gonna compete for the first time in about a month and a half. We did a brass clinic last weekend with Dr. Quentin Parker from UNCG. He came up and worked my brass, man. It's just been working, man. Honestly.
Hey, man, that's definitely a beautiful thing, and you know we're gonna continue to support everything that you're doing. Because I know this is your second year there or first year, first year.
It's my first year in the building. You know, I came in during the pandemic.
Right. That's why I was saying it's kind of like your full first year of really just like, yeah. So, man, congratulations to you on that, man. And you definitely have our support, man. I know what it feels like walking into a building and building from the ground up. Quan knows that. So, man, you know, good luck to you. And it's great that you are moving forward and having all of these things happen for you. So, man, 100% congratulations, brother.
Greatly appreciate it, my guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man, let's go ahead and get this show started. This is Percussion show number 2. And last one went really well. I know you guys probably seen the commercial that went out. So for those of you guys who are watching, if you didn't see that commercial, check that out. It was a lot of great things that happened. If you didn't watch the first show, then you can go back and watch the second show, or excuse me, watch the first show. And we're here for the second show. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. As soon as you guys come in, go ahead and smash that like, daddy. Don't wait for it. Hit it right now. All right. That's not a pause either. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the network and turn on notifications, man. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks on tomorrow. All you have to do is type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. Let's get this thing started with our first topic. Now, let me put this out here. I want to make sure I make this because last show we had some questions. These are not my questions. Okay. But I did put one in there, but the rest of them are not my questions. All right. So here we go. Do you believe DCI are culture vultures? Good Lord. Do you believe DCI are culture I can't even say it. Culture vultures. Good Lord. This is my Houston accent. Good Lord. To traditional style marching drum lines. I'm not saying that again. I'm going to put it at the bottom and then y'all just read it. You know exactly what I was trying to say. Culture vultures, but I can't put it all together in a sentence. My bad, man. That's that Willow Ridge education. All right. All right. So let's get it, man. Let's start from our right. Quan, do you believe DCI are culture vultures to traditional style marching drum lines? I knew I wasn't gonna say it again.
All right, so I'm gonna say this, and people might get mad, but I just gotta be honest. We kind of steal from them. Just being honest. Uh, there's several times. Prime example, I think within the last week or two, they had a gym battle. I think last week or sometime, and I believe it was, and I know Larry will be up on this. I think it was Benedict College. I think it was Edward Waters, and it was another college.
It was Benedict, Edward Waters, and then it was Fort Valley State University. It was Jamal did the I want to say it was the second annual HBCU drum, I think, community or something like that.
Cool.
It was it was in Georgia.
Right. So now, as a snare line, they play Flamus. For those that are percussionists, it's like like one of the, I would say, like top 10 snare solos of all time. Very, very famous. As from the traditional aspect, we've used it as call outs, snare solos and call outs, and we've been doing it right for years. We've also used electric wheelchair throughout. We've also used Suncoast. And I'm naming these cadences because if you're a percussionist, like those are in the book. And some of those warm-ups, such as Sanford, these DCI, even as simple as 8 on the hands, we've used. And regardless of how we've tweaked them or used them and kind of like put a groove to them or so forth and so on, a lot of these warm-ups and cadences have come from the DCI world. I think as African Americans and just the HBCU world, we're very creative, but we have to give credit where credit is due. We've saw some of those things and we've taken them and we've used them to our benefit. So that's why I get frustrated sometimes now as I've matured in the percussion game and music education world when we say, that they just trying to jock our style, when if we just gonna be honest, we've taken a lot of things from them. And we really don't know some of the history of those things to honestly be pointing a finger as if like we just were the innovators of those things. From like just the aspect of when you saw traditional lines honestly change and alter and matriculate to what you see now, going from those clear tops, those power strokes, to those Kevlar heads. Some of that was first introduced, like I say, from the DCI world. And just the history of the box, like being 10 toes down. Shout out to rest in peace to Rodney Jackson. I'm sorry, not Rodney, Joe Jackson and Rodney Goods. They went to a camp at North Texas and then changed the stylistically of the box. Now, is that stealing, or is that seeing something that you like and prefer and then creating your own? I don't think that's an issue. And then lastly, I'll make this point. If you talk about the Rudimental Cookbook, if you're a percussionist, you're going to know about that book. If you talk about Just Desserts, you're going to know about that book. That is a DCI book. If you talk about cadences, again, Legend of a One-Eyed Soldier, all of those things, man, they come from the DCI world. So just saying, I think we got to give credit where credit is due. I think we have a place that's just for us, and we have our own talents that we can step out and do some great things. However, we've taken some things from them, and I'm not even going to get in the history of tenor drums and all of that other stuff, but we've borrowed some things too.
Okay. I know I've seen Just Desserts. I had it in my band room. I played through it. Not far, but I played through it. Tay, I ain't reading that because I'm gonna mess it up again. But you got the question. You got it. Go for it.
See, I'm pretty much in the same boat as Quan. No, to answer the question. I don't think DCI are culture vultures when we're talking about traditional groups. I can kind of see where you're coming from, Quan, when you're saying some of the stuff that we've gotten from them. But I don't really confuse the lines of what's just general rudimental drumming and then what's considered really DCI. It just so happens that And I guess this is probably to your point that some of the people who are leading rudimental drumming just happen to work with chorus too. Over the past 50 years, 40, 50 years. But on the opposite end, I think we do have some traditional style drum lines that do borrow some things from DCI. But we got to call a spade, man. Like they're in the broad spectrum, like these are world-class players coming together to play. You know what I mean? And we got to call a spade. That's not happening at our colleges. And really, it's not happening at a lot of no colleges. They're just not getting a whole group of the best players to do it together. So it's going to seem like that. Other than that, though, DCI, they're not afraid to evolve. So even though they may take some things visually, or borrow something, I don't want to say take, I'll say borrow some things. It's not like, we're looking at this traditional style, these traditional style groups, and then we're like, yeah, this is going to be the foundation of what we do. That's not the case. It'll be something small. Like if you watch somebody's book, it may be one little thing that they might get from a traditional group, and then they're themselves the rest of the time.
All right. Cool. I'm like I said, I ain't reading the bottom of that. Because I know I'm gonna tear it down, man. I ain't gonna embarrass myself no more. All right, Larry, you got it. The question that's at the bottom.
Do you believe DCI culture vultures said traditional style marching drum line? All right, Thurgood Marshall, Mo City, education.
Congratulations.
All right. So I'm with the brothers. And I think we need to stop trying to act like we are in competition with DCI, because we're not. And we need to stop feeling like we be like what Tay said, like we are colleges. We get some transfers, anything, but the bulk of our players are graduating seniors. All right. For DCI, you get people that have been trained, you get people that have went to other corps and everything like that. And so they're working towards what that corps wants. And it's in the same aspect, but for DCI to only work itself in the summer, I mean, technically what do they have to steal from us? I've never personally heard of DCI play Cutthroat, or never heard of DCI play, anything from Jackson State or anything like that. But I've heard a lot of lines play their material. And the thing is, and it's just like Tay said, like, the people in DCR are at the forefront because they are comfortable with evolving. Like I say, I'm the biggest Skojo fan ever. And whenever they ask Skojo, they try to get him to kind of trying to fall in with the old DCI heads with everything. And it's like, man, what do you like about the pit being mic'd and all this other stuff? And he's like, man, how else are the kids supposed to be heard? We got bigger bands. We got a lot of kids out there. Like, the kids need to be heard. They practice, they do everything like that. It's all about evolving. Like, I'm not about to make that kid go out there and play some of the stuff that we're playing. Don't no kid want to go out there and play Sanford Plus. You're going to learn it because it's technique wise and you need to learn everything like that. But nobody's going out there playing that stuff. And so I think we need to stop doing this thing. And I think it comes a lot from us, because DCIs are comfortable with playing each other's stuff. Everybody plays double beat. Nobody ever comes in there and be like, oh man, they stealing, like they trying to be like us. They trying to look like us. They want to be us. And it's like, no, man, it's for the love of music. Let's just say, I know, because we got band directors up in here. Let's just say we show one of our concert pieces and somebody came on there and was like, hey, we played that first. You can't play that. Like, what? Like, I can't play this concert piece? It's supposed to make my kids better. So why can't I play it? We got a bad habit of trying to take rhythms and notes and try to claim it as ours. It's not ours. I mean, it belongs to the music notation world of the people that made it. So, I mean, we can't get in the habit of thinking that everything is ours and everything like that, and especially when it's already been made. And if we want to talk about the history of tenor drums, Ohio State had tenor drums long time ago. Chest tenors. And those are the schools that, you know, we mimic, you know, when we talk about our big three, our Gramblin's, our FAMU's, our Tennessee States, our Southerns. All right. A lot of them got that, you know, from them up there. So we got to get out of the habit of basically saying that they're stealing from us. Like I'm with Tay. Like I think visually, because we are an entertainment spectrum of the drum world. I think, you know, visually it's like, hey, we need something cool for our show. I seen SGJ Malik do something. I seen Malik, you know, do something. Blue Devils did the moonwalk. Was the smoothest moonwalk I ever seen while playing a drum part. I ain't complaining. I mean, what's the point of getting mad? I mean, it is what it is. Because if that was the case, then a lot of us wouldn't have a lot of material. Because just like Quan said, at that battle, when they was playing solos, a lot of people were playing solos from DCIs. They were not playing original material. But see, that's the thing. And I don't hear anybody calling them out. Hey, man, you played Shake Hands with Beef. Hey, man, you played More Spree. Hey, man, you played this. You played that. Nobody's calling nobody out. So why are we getting mad when we see somebody do a moonwalk? Oh, that belonged to Michael Jackson. Don't think, you know, Michael Jackson is any right to be mad about the situation. So we just got to get out of this fact of culture vulture. My thing is, if you feel like they stealing from us, then steal back, because I'm pretty sure when you steal back, then you're going to find out that it's a lot of stuff that they do that we're not doing. So I invite anybody, if you feel like they stealing, then steal some stuff back, because that goes along with a lot of stuff that they do with technique, keeping stuff clean, playing with a metronome, you know, reading, doing all this other stuff. So I invite anybody to say, if you feel like they're culture vulture, if that's your opinion, then I would say go look at, or go to a lot, or go to a DCI competition, record it, and steal some of the stuff that they're doing, and see if you know, and see if it's easier, or see if you can imitate your line to do the same thing. And I bet you'll have a different opinion about calling it culture vulture. That's my spiel.
So yeah. Oh, Cushion, go ahead. Okay. All right. So Malik was right. I mean, Devin was right. Malik did march a PV. I remember he was there, because I remember when he did that one little stick toss thing with them 3 sticks and playing the snare drum at the same time. I was like, dog. And it was crazy because he was with us the whole year. And I was like, who is this kid? I ain't never seen him until he did that. So hey, but
say to add to that, we met Malik, me and Larry, when he was in high school, when we went to California for Rose Bowl, and he was doing the same stick tricks then. And we was like, say, bro, you coming to PV? And he was like, yeah, bro, I know everything about you, because Prairie View went to Cali in 07 when we played Morehouse, and then or either Morehouse or A&T.
It was 07 and 08. Yeah, we played
07 and 08.
And so we played Morehouse now.
Morehouse. And so he was there then. Like, we was just walking around. It was like a band fest day, and he was there then. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was doing some of the same stick tricks then in high school that you see now. And we knew he was going to be a beast. We just thankful we can claim him as our own.
Yeah, I definitely remember him, man. And then he just kind of up and disappeared, but then he disappeared, and then he ended up on YouTube and Instagram and everybody. I was like, all right, cool. Hey, we good. I'm good with that. Let me ask you guys this question. This is one of the things. Now, this one is personally for me. This is one of the things that I've kind of been wondering. I follow a lot of percussion stuff. I really do. And I always see, a lot of guys from HBCUs and like that doing a lot of like solo stuff and really like just kind of showing their chops a lot. One of the things that I've always wondered, and either one of you guys can answer this, it doesn't matter. Why is it that I know that there's the talent there to be able to do it, but we don't see enough of HBCU students who are participating in DCI? Because they show us they have the talent all the time on social media, but we don't see a lot of them actually actively participating in DCI.
I think a lot of the times it's just the exposure, and I think we can kind of piggyback off the last episode where it kind of you got to think about the instructor. What are your instructors exposing you to? you know, and then because all the resources are there, you know, the internet is a monster. So as far as being able to have access, you know, back in the day we didn't have access to, you know, DCIs. At least we didn't. Not like we do now. But again, I think it's just all about, you know, what the people in front of you are exposing you to. And then as far as just the culture vulture question, when it comes to playing, drumming is drumming. Good drumming is good drumming. You can't deny that. I don't think that's a DCI style or a SWAC or a MEAC, or, you know, drumming is drumming. But just as far as the entertainment aspect of it, that's where the argument, you know, I think that's where people throw around that argument. You know, once you start seeing them play something from pop culture, you know, they play an R&B tune or a rap tune, or they do something that, you know, you would see a HBCU school, or just the culture of HBCU. You're starting to see a lot of that, you know, being added to those DCI shows. My son, you know, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago or last year, went to Westfield, and they had a whole scene in their show where it was like a step show. And this is a school, this is Westfield High School, so this is a school that is, they know nothing about that culture. But
Blame
again,
Beyonce.
right, you know, beyond, exactly, stuff like that. You know, once it becomes popular, now that's where that argument, you know, can be loosely thrown around. Oh, now they're culture vultures. You know, think about it. So do we classify Taylor Swift as a culture vulture, or Miley Cyrus, who did a whole album with ear drummers? Is she a culture vulture? Is Elvis a culture vulture?
I
Uh,
would actually answer those questions.
yeah,
A lot of people called them culture vultures at the time, especially
because
Miley
They-
Cyrus.
But is it because of who she is, or is it because of the type of music she's doing?
no.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
So for me, that's like, just real quick. The reason why we call Elvis a culture vulture, because actually he stole it and didn't give people credit. So it's like, ain't nothing but a hound dog, ain't even his song, but he took it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference.
Culture vulture got a lot to do with if you're not giving credit for it. If you're trying
Right.
if you're trying to take credit for it,
like you did it, like you're the originator.
Like you originated.
So most DCI lines that are doing like pop culture stuff, are, who are they giving the credit to?
I mean,
but a lot of DC.
I'm just asking.
No, but a lot.
A little bit though. We're blurring the lines with like PWI schools and schools who are traditionally traditionally core style groups with DCI. That's two different things. Mm-hmm. So like, if the question read, "Do you believe PWIs are culture vultures?" then I would have been like, "Ooh,
most definitely."
Because the neck argument.
Most DCIs are predominantly.
I mean,
but you can't say that, because a lot of DCI shows, for the most part, like they have original music.
But I'm not music. Why, again, music is music. You can't take that away from nobody. I wouldn't be able to claim a paradiddle, you know, just like they can't claim a paradiddle. Music is music, drumming is drumming. But again, the swag of it, that's where I say, you know, we can, you know, that's what we can argue. But as far as music wise, no. And, you know, kind of like what Larian said, just what you said, you know, some of the solos that we see, you know, people play. And again, if we feel like that we are stealing, just say that and then see what else they can come up with, because they're gonna come up with some shit.
But the thing about it is, we can't claim it because it's already written. And I think that kind of goes back to the last conversation from the last show, like you said. The difference
we claim the swag though?
I mean, that's low key.
I mean, but really that's the only thing that they stealing, really.
Hold on a second. But that's low key semantics of a swag versus the material. Like, so for me, when I read this question, I'm hearing about material. I'm not even speaking about, oh, you trying to low key be a, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, the swag. When you hear Flammers, I don't care if you play with a molar technique or you not. If you whipping it or not, like, that is a standard DCI snare solo. It ain't no. It ain't.
The question reads, are DCI culture vultures? It's really more vice versa. Honestly, if we're just talking about playing, if we're talking about material wise, it's vice versa. It's kind of like we stealing from them. But what they take from us is, like I said, it's the swag of it.
But that's the art of music, though. We gotta get out of that thing of the art and music. Like, they make up stuff and we utilize it, but then we don't want to give the credit back to it. So military band.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody play Flamicals and say where it didn't come from. Everybody knows where it come from.
Okay, so I mean that's the thing, and so it's like the swag part. I get I get that, but I feel like what Tay said, that's more of like a PWI. Like, DCIs are not jumping that far deep into it, and like it's most of the time just like low cores that are doing like pop shows and doing all this other stuff. Because at the end of the day, if you're not a top 10 core, it's like, well, we might as well do some stuff fun. You know, we might as well do some stuff fun, have fun, and do everything else. Like, a lot of people are reaching into that pop world. That's just because, I mean, of the listener now. Like, we got to think about, we definitely got to think about in this time what the listener is listening to. Because DCI is known for orchestral pieces and making it, you know, in a marching setting and trying to do it like that, and then trying to make it competitive. So you got so many avenues, but now it's like you don't got a lot of people going out there that know, you know, Shipkowski and all them other people, or, you know, Ryder Spring and everything like that. So I got to throw in a little Jay-Z or a little Kanye up in there to wake some people up, and then we get back into what we got to do. Now, is that culture vulture? Not necessarily. I mean, I just feel like, you know, we gotta, like you said last time, like, you gotta know your audience, and the audience of the listener right now for bands is real slim to none. Because think about it, a lot of cores then went down just because of the pandemic. 2 years, a lot of cores had to, you know, a lot of companies had to, you know, go down. So I mean, in that aspect, it's like what we got to do to get our people back. If I got to go moonwalk out there, shit, go moonwalk. It is what it is.
Right, but I don't think just on the playing aspect of it, I don't think that.
Oh no, definitely not at all.
No. Like I said, if anything, it's really vice versa. But I can say, you know, when you'll see a HBCU line, you know, play a solo from the Blue Devils or the Cavaliers or the Cadets or whatever, you know, they definitely let it be known that, hey, we got this from them, and, you know what I'm saying, we can play it too. That's honestly, when it comes to, you know, those type of solos, it's really just to show you, hey, we can play it also. But again, like I said, other than that, no, I just think they still in the swag, you know, just the, you know, the pop culture of it. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
All right, we got that one out. Good. Before we keep going, I know Paul came into the room and Teddy came into the room, so let's welcome these brothers in the room first of all. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Hey, as a matter of fact, let me make sure I say this. We are not staying on the show for 5 hours tonight. That's not happening, bro.
On the cool, I went ahead and cooked dinner, got everything set and ready. I probably last I ain't eat till 1 o'clock messing with y'all.
Look, I gotta make a run for the wife when the show done, and the store gonna close if we stay on here for 5 hours. So,
you see, I had to already start eating.
Look, I saw you had your drink and your food ready. Nah,
that's why I was late, because I was eating.
Yeah.
You gotta have your energy up for this one, boy. You see how they do the step down? They just slave you, make you work.
Yeah, I'm just getting off work myself, so yeah, man, I understand.
All right, well, let's keep it rolling then, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like daddy for all these brothers that's on this panel right now, talking percussion all up and through, just talking about percussion. Go ahead and smash that like daddy for them. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. You can find this episode tomorrow on all of your podcasting networks at Real Talk That Talk. All right, on to the next topic. Let's see. Paul, you're gonna start this one up. I'm gonna try not to get to everybody, just kind of move it along. But if y'all got whatever y'all need to say, y'all can jump in. But everybody's probably not gonna answer every question. All right, why is everything a black and white thing when it comes to style? Why is everything a black and white thing when it comes to style? Paul, you got it, bro.
I think it all comes down to dominance. People trying to establish. You see, when COVID happened, everything became a battle. Versus LeBron or Kobe, even that's LeBron, Jordan. That's always been an argument, but everything became a this or that. Salt on your grits, sugar on your grits. Like it became more. Like everything started getting looked at like, all right, this or that. And I think we all try to, we all see it on the Percussion Connection, or even, some of you are band directors. Everybody's always trying to figure out the first. Who's the first person to start doing this with the chest turn? Or who's the first people that had the straps? Who was the first? What year did North Carolina A&T's drumline transition from harnesses to straps? Who was the first person to do a backflip with the Z's? It's like so many. I think we get caught up so many times in trying to figure out the establishment, which goes back to the first show.
You know the answers to all those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just
and I think
I was just messing around.
But some of it is getting buried because, like I said, going back to the first show that we talked about, and I could not agree more. When certain things get wrote down musicality-wise, history-wise, and it's copywritten, it's hard to get rid of it. And so when you have things like that getting wrote down like Cheesy Poos, it's copywritten. I don't care who played it or what interpretation you have, that's certified as that. But then you have things that's just passed down. Now, HBCUs is a little different because just speaking from my school at Kentucky State and a lot of HBCUs, the reasons why not even band, just colleges were started in general is because we couldn't learn with them. So we had to start our own. Kentucky State was called the School for Coloreds at the Institution of Kentucky. This was back in 1886. Then it kept evolving. Kentucky State College, Kentucky State Institution for Non-Colors. Now it's Kentucky State University. Everybody has their own transition that they went through with their school. But it always happens because some of the melanated folks, per se, didn't have the same privilege. So we went out and tried to make our own. I think the deal breaker is it's like we're all trying to put a stamp on it without knowing the facts. We're all trying to figure out, I know, Steve Kerr he had a killer crossover, but Tim Hardaway started it first. Or did Allen Iverson start it first? It's like we're all trying to go back into this mesh of trying to figure out, what got solidified first without borderline facts. And I think that's kind of misleading and it's kind of confusing. And so it's a black and white thing because in many things, even outside of HBCUs, the melanated people started it and we're not getting our credit, and then it gets overlooked, and then someone else gets the credit for it. My boy Trice can send me a piece of music. I'm my drum line is struggling. Trice, send me some music. Next thing you know, my line learns it. A month later, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call this P-Dub. Without any recognition of saying, oh yeah, this is by Trice, by the way. Oh yeah, this is, so, and it keeps getting passed down, and that's why you have these cadences like Johnny Need a Haircut. That may be called that at Southern, but in Columbus, Ohio, we call that boo-boo. And it just keeps getting passed down in many ways. The Rudiment Cookbook, that's called the book up here, even though we still got that orange cover, even though it's authorized and everything like that, but it keeps getting passed down, and everyone wants their own like praise for it. And it's like, it's all right to give people praise. It's all right to go back, especially when it's written down and it's copywritten, it has a trademark. It's all right to give people props. It's all right to say that, you know, all right, well, the first school I seen doing this in the church-wise was such and such university. But when you hear that, I'm like, nah, that ain't the first school I seen do that. It's like, you know, BET back in the day, in the early 90s, they was broadcasting certain things. We had Marching Network. It wasn't no YouTube. So as things start to transfer, you start to see like we're at the age to where we knew about those days. We crabbed in that 97, 90. Hell, I crabbed 01. So I was in that crabbing stage before DRUMLine came out. When DRUMLine came out, that was just something like, oh man, we've been doing that. But then you all have a different story because you in the South. It ain't the same as it is in Ohio, as it is in Louisiana or Texas. You know, y'all doing it in the high school. We, you know what I mean? So I think it's like everything comes down to certain people not getting the recognition, and then they speak up. And so it's always going to be a black and white thing. And then I don't care what nobody said. This, you can't argue with this. Melanated people, we always put a little swag on something, whether we steal it or not. We always take the, you know, the high mom, that little flash. We always take that and be like, all right, now do it twice. All right, now do it twice, but take the stick around the left hand. Maybe we didn't start that. Maybe Scojo and Nick Anglis was doing that, but they didn't get the credit for it. And it's like it goes. Because if you notice some of those, you know, the book reports and the cheeses, who's really claiming them? Ain't nobody really, you can't really claim nothing if you're not in, because of our society putting a tag on it saying this is the 26, this is the 40. So things being stolen and people not getting the proper pat on the back per se, I think that's where a lot of that is coming from. And everybody want their name in the books. Everybody want that. You play for the Lakers. Why don't you want your jersey up there? And if you don't get that, even though if you didn't earn it or not, I think that becomes a battle.
Shout out to, was it Winning Season? Dope show. All right. Yeah, if you ain't on the Quan, you got to get on it. If you're a basketball, just a basketball fan, you might want to get on it. That joint is dope. And then it does have a show that's talking about the development of the Showtime Lakers. All right. Teddy, why is everything a black and white thing when it comes to style?
It's a great question, man. Paul said a lot of key points. To be honest, I'm not sure I have too much else to add. Paul made a lot of great points. I don't have anything to add at this time.
Mind if I jump in, Julian?
Go ahead, man.
So I feel like, and I'm gonna just have to say just what it is. It's two specific things in my opinion. Number one, it's a dick measuring competition. I don't know if I can say that, but I just said it. But that's really what it is. It's an elephant trunk competition among. Pause. All right, but it's an element of competition amongst two different races. Honestly, that one our people we've accepted, well, not accepted, but we've went through systemic oppression for years. And anytime that we do something, many times by outside races, either they like it and love it behind closed doors, or they talk crap about it, right? My thing is, the bottom line is, it becomes black and white when it's kind of like, say, I'm over here doing my own thing, and I didn't ask you about your opinion, but you put your opinion out there for the world, and you're diminishing what I'm doing. I think that's when it becomes the aspect of overall black and white. That's when it becomes an issue. If, for example, I remember I saw during the pandemic, they had an interview with a band director. I believe he was from Auburn, and Dr. Little was on the call, and I'm drawing a blank, but it's the brother from LSU. That's Fred. I can't think of his name, but I think Dr. I can't remember, but the band director from LSU. What's the name? Julian?
Kelvin.
Yeah. So it's like they were on the show, and he was basically asking questions like, and then they had the brother from Penn State, and they were just talking about the differences between PWI, HBCU, and a lot of these brothers graduated from HBCUs, and some of them are running PWIs. And what I realize is a lot of races are just blatantly ignorant about our culture, or they love our rhythm, but they haven't experienced our blues. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's kind of like the original question was, the first question tonight was, are there culture vultures? There are certain things that we agree that we take from them, but even when we do our own thing, then it's like either they secretly love it or they talk crap about us, publicly on different forums. I look at it like this. I think a better example would have been, look at BYOS. That was a whole movement, honestly, for a good little bit, where Harvey and Ralph was just playing, honestly, doing what we've been doing for years, just playing to a track. But when they started adding, it was like the ABCs, and it was a poster, and that was something big. When they came out with their own sticks, that was something big. When, like Cushion was saying, we added our own swag to it, that's when it was like, all right, cool. And then they grabbed a whole new generation of percussionists, and then they ran with it for a time. It becomes black and white, bro, when they talk crap about us. When it's like, bro, we just doing us. Like, we not talking, mess about church. That's when it becomes like an overall black and white thing. I think that's the issue, bottom line. And I think Crystal is making some valid points in the comments where we lose who we are when we don't write it down, because as Africans, we know for a fact we're accustomed to oral transmission. That's how we pass things down. I mean, so it's like when you still talk about, and I always say this on the show about post-traumatic slave syndrome, think about real talk. I just left, New Orleans for Easter. How many recipes, real talk, in our family that are dying with the elders because we're not writing them down? So you are losing the swag to the potato salad because you didn't write it down from your mama. Or you losing the swag to that sweet potato pie because you didn't write it down. It's the same thing. And they see it, they write it, and it may not be the exact same way, but then they could claim it for theirs.
Just like DRUMLine Live did, and a lot of people was DRUMLine Battle. A lot of people was mad at that because they copyrighted DRUMLine Battle, and a lot of people didn't know. They were like, well, how they gonna steal that? And it's like, they didn't steal it. They just they copyrighted the name and the form. Didn't nobody say we couldn't have no more battles. I mean, shit, we still having battles. And so people took that into consideration, not knowing the history of it and not knowing the logistics of it. And it was like, they made that platform for them and they copyrighted. They're always going to copyright stuff because they want to make sure when somebody 10, 20 years from now, because it's really dying down. But when somebody 10, 20 years from now be like, man, we should start having DCIs do battles. Oh, we did that 20 years ago. Here it is. Like, I can show you that and everything like that. And it goes to the same point Quan said. We're not writing down, and we get to this aspect. It's like the famous elementary, example of telephone. You go around the class and tell somebody something, and by the time you get back, paradiddle then changed or something like that. I mean, that's why it's on paper. So when I go to Quan school and I say paradiddle, or when I go to Tay, or when I go to Paul, when I go to Luke school, play a paradiddle, it's the same thing. It's on that paper. It ain't no, oh, that's what I heard. That's what I heard somebody else play. What? Like, no, you can't do that. It's on paper. So I mean, and then I think we gotta get better in tune with technology for music, because I think we harbored with the situation, and I think a lot of stuff wasn't getting written down because a lot of people couldn't do it by hand. That took a real music major type of situation, but now everything's available. I mean, you can get MuseScore for free when, struggling, college majors wasn't paying that $150. I got mine on the bootleg, or, I got mine from, people that wanted me to write for them. And that's how I did it. But, well, nobody paying no $300 for finale. So it was like, shoot, I just T-Ball wrote then.
I'm just gonna let you guys know that I still have the 2003 copy of Finale that I got on the CD in undergrad. If you want it, I can send it to you.
I use 14.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I've upgraded since then. I'm on. Yeah. I think I'm on 18 now, 19, but I still have that CD if you want it. I got a question for you, and it's just something that just kind of popped in my head. If there is a white guy on the line, either one of y'all lines, and he's playing, normal stuff that you guys play. Look at that. Blessings. But if he's playing, whatever cadence you guys have or whatever block that you guys are doing, would he be considered somebody who's invited to the cookout? Or would he just be a person who's just...
Yes.
You want me to tell you what's crazy is they actually get in that area of, oh, he really got swag. Prime example, 2013 or 14, St. Louis used to host a drumline battle, and of course Harris Stowe was there. But when I was there, it was A&T. They came, Langston, and a lot of people. If you remember, it was a famous battle. That's where I have my most YouTube hits at. It's that Langston A&T battle. And I had on like a black and orange Adidas jacket. Now, this is me. I'm thinking this. I can't remember his exact name, but it was a white guy on A&T's line. I'm looking at him. No one else had to tell me this. I'm me. I know I'm pretty phenomenal. I know I'm pretty dope. I'm looking at him in my head, rent free, like, oh, he got swag. Before he even tapped the drum, I'm already giving him a pass. And so when they start playing, A&T start, doing their little thing. To me, I wasn't even really thinking of it like, man, he trying to be black. Man, he trying to hang. It was honestly, I was just like, oh, he can hang. Now, individually, you know how we do. We Honda battle the bands. We all want to link up. Oh, Chambers, it's a pleasure to meet you, bro. And that's what's up, hey man. People get on the pads. He may have not been one of them people over there on the pads, either because he wasn't on that type of time or his chops wasn't going to keep up. I don't know which one, but it's like you automatically give certain people a certain pass. If you got a pretty young lady on the line, that's almost in the same line as that. Like, oh man, she bad as hell, and she plays snare. It's like, so you're automatically kind of giving them, I'm gonna be honest, like a boost up. Like you,
Yep.
It almost gives your line a swag, especially when you clean. Yeah, because I know I thought about that, and then when I see others, I've had a white guy, even though he was Russian, which was a whole different story. But the one thing about it, man, when you said that tone of music in front of him, he was telling us, oh, no, actually, that's not right. So this is what we're supposed to be doing, blah, blah, blah. So you automatically, they just look right. That's the same thing, and I'm not Greek, but just from the outside looking in, if I see somebody, oh, he a cute and he white, oh, I know he got swag. You kind of like give him that automatic, like, oh, he got to be raw. So that's just my 2 cents.
And you know what, to take that a step further, we had a guy that was on the line. He was actually Hispanic, but he could come off as, Caucasian. And that's Sean Torres. Shout out Torres. But because of the type of school he went to, Aldine, which was, more of a core school back in the day. And once he got on the line, we automatically named him Pac-10. Like, you don't play like you in the SWAC, you play like you in the other conference. So like, and what we used to always get, outside of he's married now, congratulations, and but we used to always get girls to come up to us and like, because he was with the brothers, what's that light-skinned dude name? Like, no, he's not light-skinned, he's actually Hispanic. But at first we took him as Caucasian. But again, because of his background and how he came onto the line playing, we automatically, you know what, Pac-10 is your name, because you don't play like, SWAC. But yeah.
So first of all, Paul, you're Psy, right? Yeah, okay. So you Greek. Yeah, I don't differentiate between all that. If you got Greek letters on, you Greek. Anyway, but we got a Greek show next week, so we'll probably bring that up. But now the situation is reversed. You see your brother on a line in a predominantly white institution.
They gonna automatically let him on. He lame. just eyesight.
He's
I'm
selling
just,
out. He
yeah.
man. Yeah.
But that goes
No,
back. But that
no,
goes back into the black and white. That was
that's
exactly
not
my
true.
point. Y'all
No.
went
It's
to
not.
No,
It's not
but
true
Julian, but
porn.
no, Julian,
It's not true porn. But at the same, you already know. Just it's reading the book
no,
by its cover on the
no,
cover.
but guess what? I'm gonna look at that dude, and I hate to say it like this, but this is my truth. I'm gonna look at that dude and be like, he gotta be cold. Like real talk. Like if you see, I think like it was like Dr. Edie, his school. I believe they had like a brother, because you know that's a core style school. And I saw a brother that was on the stand line. I was like, he's cold. When we saw real talk, when we saw Ralph Nader as a Blue Devil,
Straight
we was
up,
like, he got to be cold.
that blew my
When
mind. Straight up.
not being ugly, the same thing as like we say we invited them to the cookout. When you see an African American brother in DCI, period, because we know the type of regimen of what it takes to make those world class. They got to be about their business. That's why real talk. People can say what they want about Rick, but Rick low key an anomaly because you were a DZAC, and that trumpet section been on top for years, and you was a blue coat, and you was a caption head, and tech, and so forth and so on. And we talking about at a time in the 90s, bro, where it wasn't a lot of us. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like I think when I see and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, when you see a brother or a sister that's on one of them lines, you be like, bro, they cold.
So let me ask you this question before you go, Christian. Because these are now my questions, because I want to understand, and there may be people out there who may be listening and be thinking the same thing. So if you on that line, you cold, but if you on the black line, you just got swag. You may be cold, but we don't know. But you got swag though.
True. I mean,
it really
that sounds diminishing, but go ahead.
I mean, it shouldn't matter like that, and we kind of made it like that. It shouldn't matter at all. Like I shouldn't go see, and I think we kind of mixing it with PWIs, because I think that's where the lane comment goes. Like, oh man, like when I was a grad assistant at Southern Miss, like we had some black kids there, but they came from corp schools, so them going there felt like home. So it wasn't a situation of, are you lame? It was like, oh, you went here because of school. I mean, and it's like it's we, like all the people that came from, you know, certain regions, you know, in the neighborhood. I think we started that whole contemplation of, you know, if you're black, then you got to go somewhere black, and that's not always the case. Like we got to get out of that notion of, oh man, he could have went to TSU, or he could have went to Jackson and did the same thing. But what if he didn't want to go? What if he wanted to go somewhere different? And we got to respect that, and we got to you know, support that. Because the crazy thing about it is, and I don't know, some of y'all might know, but they have a group on Facebook called the African American in DCIs that they go in, and if you're in that group, they show so much support. They show the history. They show, you know, people that used to march and show like the African, you know, drum corps and everything like that. And I'm only in there for the history, just to see, you know, about, you know, the history of it. And you know, they're giving praise to the people and everything that marched certain lines when, you know, it was predominantly white and everything like that. And, you know, it's no, oh, he lame or anything like that. And it's some people that went to, you know, SWAC schools, MEAC, SEAC, you know, CIAA, that did drum corps as well. And so, you know, we gotta support each other. It don't matter what we do, because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is not technically ours. If that's the case, then wouldn't none of these black brothers be in the NBA? Let's start our own. Or we wouldn't be in the NFL. Let's start our own. The MLB. All right. I mean, we had our league, right? Correct. And then it was like, I don't think we're gonna go that far. Let's go ahead and get something what's bigger, but we still gonna show them what we about. So support. I mean, you don't gotta like him. I mean, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. Is he a great player? Yeah, everything, you know. But you know, I'm always gonna support him for what he's doing, regardless. is you the GOAT over Jordan? Hell to the no. And anybody that has something to say about that, you're just wrong. But I think we just got to show more support. Like if somebody like we got to start pushing more kids to DCI, and that was the answer Luke question a long time ago. Like why are we not pushing other kids to go to DCI? And like Kush said, has a lot to do with the instructors. A lot of people that I see in the percussion world or in the percussion connection, like chalks down on DCI about some shit about everything, and it's like, bro, it's so we can do summer band, but DCI is just summer band. Am I right or wrong?
I agree.
DCI is just summer band, but their summer band is just a little more coordinated. I don't pay $20 and get a shirt. I pay $5,000 and I get to tour around schools and I get to compete and I get to learn from people and I get to do this and I get to learn from people that's doing everything like that. We got to look at it as a band camp for us. Like
Larry, but you don't think it's a money thing?
What you mean?
Because like to march a chorus, like you don't.
Oh yeah, that's a big situation. That's the reason why I didn't march, because I thought the same thing. I thought, when I auditioned for Brian Stevens, good buddy, from Southern Miss, when I auditioned for him, and he was like, "All right, man," he's like, start coming to the camps. I said, "All right, how much y'all pay?" He said, "No, buddy, we don't pay y'all. You got to pay to play." I was like, "Shit, I'm not about to ask my mama for $3,000. I'm sorry." So I just enjoyed it. I just enjoy it from the outside. But that was my whole thing.
Is there a predominantly Black DCI group, or has there ever been?
Yeah, most definitely. There's been a lot of them. And if you go in that group, like they show a lot of the groups that were predominantly Black. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I want to say Ralph Hardiman might have been in one. I might be wrong, and it might be hazy with one, but I know he was around in that time when he was marching. I
wonder what made it, stop, or what made it,
just, because the DCIs is the people that sponsor them. And it's just like the Catholic churches. It's just like everything. Like a couple of DCIs are sponsored by the Boys and Girls Club, like stuff that we don't even know. Like who knew that the Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts, yeah. The Boy Scouts were supporting, these functions. But that's when you go and read, the information and be like, oh, I didn't know that the Catholic Church was paying for the Crossmen, or I didn't know that they was doing this and doing that.
Scouts and whatnot.
Yeah.
In 2022, is it possible to get something started like that again?
Shameless plug. Me and Tim Green are the directors of what we are going to have is a new tradition of WGI line, which is called Southern Percussion Ensemble, which should be coming up, which we are going to incorporate everything that we like to talk about, swag, and also getting in the context of bridging the gap in that and everything like that. COVID kind of slowed us down, but we are trying to be the first one that we can see minority based in this new era of what we're doing. So we can definitely have for some people to feel like, I don't really want to go that route. Well, you can come to us and do the route that you already know how to do, but it's still going to be high standards. And I don't want people to think that they're going to come in there and just play tenor drum and play solos. Like, no, we're still going to do that same route. We're just going to show them how we do it at the swag and everything like that, and show them that this can still be competitive in the same aspects of how we like to perform.
Yeah, so kind of like what
this is a great conversation. I'm sorry to interrupt, Dante.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
It's a great conversation, guys. I didn't know everybody was into DCI, and how those guys play.
Just not Norfolk. I'm just cranking it up. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to see if that's where you want to go with it. I'm trying to see if that's where you want to go with it, bro. I'm messing with you now.
No, I just didn't know everybody was into that kind of music. That's all. I just wanted to kind of, just add that in. I didn't know that you guys were into that.
Yeah, most definitely.
The conversations that we had before, I just didn't know that y'all were into that kind of music. So it's good to hear. Good to hear.
I think we can understand the appreciation of it, even if we don't like it. Because I've had this argument a couple years ago. I made a statement. I was like, I don't care about DCI. And there was a lot of people that got on the connection. They was like, what you mean? I was like, let me rephrase this. I cannot just watch Jackson State. I can't just watch PV. I need some Blue Devils. I need some Sprees. I need some guys. Matter of fact, I need to just watch nobody else but them tunnels run up and down, because I need that in my life. And then I need the multi-tender players who just playing real loud triplets. I need all of it, and I can appreciate it. The difference is when we get to judging them, then that's when we say, nah, that's boo-boo. Nah, y'all's tuning ain't. That's where people get mad, because we're able to decipher. And I've seen Southern play in person, and they're the biggest, like, listening to them in person and then listening to them on tape, you be like, well, they was dirty. But I heard them in person, I'm like, nah, they was clean as hell. So it's like you have to understand the appreciation, because a lot of drum lines tune to a pitch. And so when you tune to a pitch, there's ain't no way that it can be off. And I think I can appreciate DCI because it's like, man, I can't just watch the Lakers all the time, bro. I used to watch Hot Sauce and Steve Francis back in the day. I wanted to see some cooning. I needed to see people get their ankles broke. I needed to see some alley-oops. I needed to see all of it. I needed to see, like, even in the AFL, like you just really need to see some different type of things. And I think once you can understand an appreciation of it, then you can really go on. If you into battle rapping, you're not going to be listening to the mainstream cats. You're going to TSU Surf. You're going to Conceited. You be like, nah, I need to hear some bars, because a lot of those guys are way better. They just don't have that concordance to actually, get there. And I think that could be where another disconnect comes from. And going back to where this is my last thing. Going back to where we was talking about, I had a friend who went to March for Ohio State, but he came from the whole, like, our drum line was like a Morris Brown, WT, Alabama State, Central State, and our band director was from Jackson State. So for him to go on that second tunnel, he was marching for the Glassmen back in the day up in Toledo. For him to go straight there, you kind of look at it, man, he's selling out. But I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, I know he can read. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, I know he can read. I know he dope. Oh, I know he the truth. Because you can put yourself and conform in different situations. And I did the same thing. That's the reason why when I go to clinics, I tell people all the time, this is my price. This is what I do. I don't teach style. I'm not going to teach you style. I'm going to teach you standard. What the hell I look like going to Texas Southern and teaching their style? You know what I mean? Like, it just don't make sense. What I look like going to $1 Million Fun Squad and be like, nah, y'all got to change this. Nah, we're not changing this. But they got us right. What I teach is standard. Because standard, you can never go wrong with. Staying inside that 40, clean is clean. Stick height, all of that. Like, you can go to the standard. And then everybody's going to change it up. Prime example, Bethune-Cookman. A lot of people may play like that, but I don't see too many people play right over left on their Z's, on their cymbals. That's very unorthodox, but it works for them. And so that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I just brought it up because I know, like, Dante and some of the guys were asking about wanting to, of course, incorporate their own African American DCI line, and wanted to have some of their guys auditioning for DCIs, and that type of style is different from what a lot of HBCUs are playing. So I mean, it's just based on the conversation that we all were together and we all had during the previous episode. I'm not gonna lie, I was just a little shocked to hear everybody say that, because everybody didn't seem to have that same level of appreciation that I'm hearing today.
So I'm Brian, I'm glad you brought that up, because even me and Dante, like, after the show, we was having, like, a conversation about it, like, off camera. Everything that you said, fam, I think we agree with what you were saying in regards to, I think one of your comments was, nobody wants to send, well, I'm not going to send my child to a place where they only play 2 and 4. And I feel what you're saying, you know what I'm saying, with that. I think the misconception or the misunderstanding that we overall had was some drum lines, fam, are held back due to the band director. It's not the appreciation for the like all the students. You see what I'm saying? It's like I know for a fact, like let's be real. It's in specific colleges, you know, you're gonna play 2 and 4. Because while they're playing that band song, that's the focus. Like when me and Larry and March, he's my crab brother. Prophet was like, drummers is like a set. You're in the pocket. I want 2 and 4. That's it. The only other time that we play like a different groove or anything is when we play all blues or we play giant steps.
Not to cut you off, Quan, but what if we'd have had somebody writing our parts?
And that's a whole different story. You see what I'm saying? Now that's a whole different story. But because we didn't, and it's kind of like we was taught at Prairie View, that's not your fault, but it's your problem. That's literally at the point where we was. Now when Luke and them got there in transition with Dr. Zachary, like Larry said, they had somebody writing their parts, and they had, you know, a percussion person that was writing their parts to where the percussion section evolved into they're playing parts of songs. That was different. You see what I'm saying? So we've always had an appreciation for DCI. We have appreciation for reading music and everything. But I think some drum lines are held back due to the director. And I don't think that's everybody's perception on that line. So, and like I said, it's not an apologetic thing, but if you thought that we didn't appreciate drum corps, you know, I apologize for that misconception. But nah, bro, we love drum corps, and I think
I'm a bigger drum corps head than you, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like Rav Hardiman is I call him
our goats.
Yeah, like
just like Johnny Lane is.
I actually got the opportunity to teach a line his music, and that's how we got close because I was at Stephen F. Austin in Sugarland, and Ralph Hardiman came out there, and he comes out there like two, 3 times to help us out and everything like that. And I was teaching the front ensemble his music, and I was like, "Nah, we need to play something different." And he was standing there, and I looked back, and I was like, "Oh shit!" It's like I told somebody to play Ralph Hardiman stuff different, and he's like, "No, if you see it like that, tell them to play it like that." He was like, "No," he's like, "You got ears too." He was like, everybody, you know, sometimes it takes a different ear to see the progress or to see the success in something that you got to do. And from that point on, like, you know, that was just a bonding, you know, situation like that. But I've always been, I wanted to march DCI. I just didn't have the money.
Yeah. So
one thing I love to do is like whenever I run into Scott Johnson, like he's in Texas all the time, especially during like the Winter Guard, you know, circuit or whatever. But one thing I like to do is I like to pick his brain on, you know, what does he think about, you know, HBCU lines? You know, what do you think about a Prairie View or Texas Southern or A&T or whoever? And like some of the stuff I hear him say, "Oh, I would hate to see those guys in the alley lining up against them," you know, like, you know, just getting his perspective on pretty much doing the exact same thing that we do to them. So DCI is what's popping. DCI is what's popping down here. We just don't want to listen to it all day.
Let me pick it back on you, Dante. Man, respectfully, that's the wrong person to ask, yo. And I'm gonna tell you why, dog. By just the thumbs up real quick. How many of y'all are teaching in an area where public school is dominated by let's call it a spade, white men? All right, so I'll give the thumbs up. Most of the band directors in Virginia are white men. Is it like that in Texas too? I think that's where you at, Quan, right?
No, depending on it's not like that in Texas. It really depends on where you're at.
Where you at in Texas?
In Texas, okay.
The inner city of Houston ISD is minority, it's black and Hispanic.
All chocolate and brown.
Yeah,
you go to the suburban areas.
Like on the outskirts, you gonna see
Woodlands. Now you getting into something different.
You gonna get a splatter.
Well, I said Texas though, so we talking about like Texas music educators.
Oh, Texas music educators, they reign supreme over us, most definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest high school band is out here in Texas, and we already know. I think they got like 8 people on their staff.
Who you talking about?
Was that Marcus? The high school that's 800?
Oh yeah,
You talking about McAllen?
No, is that McAllen?
Is that McAllen?
I think it's
It's
McAllen.
something.
But
So
yeah,
this is
yeah,
the reason why I bring
we
that
go
up.
to TMEA. It's basically like 5 of us and 5,000 of them.
Yeah. This is the reason I bring that up, man. And this has been a conversation up here. And it's really like we talk about appreciation and how we can share an appreciation for, core style or DCI or whatever. But man, sometimes it's just not reciprocated. Especially when you're talking about things like up here, you got, becoming a Virginia Honor Band or your school being a blue ribbon school. If we have to go to marching contests, man, a lot of the show style groups, they get drugged.
Same here.
I'm glad you brought
Yeah,
that up.
That's a big thing
That's
out
the
here.
same thing.
So glad you brought that up right now because, well, one, that is super normal in the state of Texas. But the other reason, the other reason is because I was going to go into the next topic. But before going into the next topic, here we go.
The wait is over. The U.S. Bands Adjudicated Battle of the Bands now has 3 new locations added. Sunday, October 9th in Montgomery, Alabama. Sunday, October 16th in Petersburg, Virginia. Saturday, November 5th in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Saturday, November 12th on the campus of Prairie View A&M University. For more information, go to www.usbands.org and we'll see you there.
To go ahead and put that commercial in there anyway, but what that is it's by U.S. Bands. Good friend, frat brother 06, Eric Prince has been working with U.S. Bands for a long time to put that together. U.S. Bands is an organization that works with the Blue Devils, and so we know what it's like to go to these adjudicated situations and do what we do in our style and get lambasted for it. So this is what U.S. Bands is holding right now is an opportunity for us to go and do what we do, but be judged and scored fairly. And so you have all of those 4 different places that you can enter your program into. So we're going to be in Petersburg, so you can sign your band up if you want to hit it. But yeah, we're going to be in Petersburg. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be judging in Petersburg, and me and Rick is going to be there judging in Petersburg. But
is that where the Billion Pair Sticks Club will be a vendor there? Oh, okay. You got to put that.
You
pressure
asked the
on
wrong
right
person.
Here. You put that pressure on them right here.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead and hit up Eric Prince. Eric Prince got you. I mean, I wouldn't say no, but Eric Prince got you. But yeah, most definitely. I understand what you're going through, Dante. I'm pretty sure I've dealt with it. I know Quan has probably dealt with it. I know Larry has probably dealt with it. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been there. I've experienced it. So,
but I got a question for you, Luke. And see, me and Quan talk about this, and he knows how I feel, and about that situation. Like, and I know that we're going to do it for us, and I know that we're going to have an understanding. But is there? I'm hoping that it's going to be an opportunity for growth. I hope it's not a situation of, oh, look at them babies out there, ones. Like, because if let's just be honest, if we're judging some of these shows and some of the best colleges we know, Southern make mistakes, but with Southern Care, if they got all 2s, oh man, we the human jukebox. You can't tell us that we made 2s. Like, I think because we know our situation and everything like that, but I think our biggest problem is we can't take constructive criticism, and I'm fine with it. I'd rather you tell me, hey man, like, y'all want it, because I know when we went to marching contest my first year, Stephen F. Austin, they told us, it was like, we understand that you guys are high stepping, but halfway through the show, nobody's marching 90s anymore. And I'm like, you're right. I see that a lot in college bands. We high steppers and everything like that. By the time we get to the middle of the show, it look like we out there walking. And so, and it's a situation of, are we gonna be honest about that? Look, if y'all want to claim yourself to march 90s and stuff like that, I need that entire show. Bethune-Cookman is going to be a school that's going to be like, oh, they marched that whole show. That whole show, they had that drive. They had that pump and drive, that entire show. FAMU are big in that aspect where I think that they could take constructive criticism and be like, that flank over there wasn't pumping and driving. All right, I'm going to get on their behind when we get back to practice. But I think some of these other bands, because we feel like, we do what we do, and it's like I don't want our kids to feel like because of a situation that we in, because especially for Texas, and we all know about Texas, is like our feeder schools are crap and everything like that. I still want our kids to know that you can still play better than that. Just because we're out there playing Rick James don't mean that Rick James can't sound great.
But hey, have you ever been on a judging panel where they kind of prep you like, hey, we don't want the scores too low, we don't want them too high?
Mm-hmm.
That's so whack to me.
It
like,
is.
Well, I know we kind of off subject, but like, first of all, let me say this. And when it comes to the USA Bands competition, hands down, honestly, great adjudicators, fair across the board. And honestly, for the inaugural one we had, they had core styles and show style. And honestly, Cedar Hill was the best band there. Period. Like, let me be clear. It wasn't best core style, best tradition. They were the best band. I'm talking about from the time they hit the field to the time they got off to the time the drum major blew the whistle. They were the best. Like, you could see, but like, yeah, they got it.
Yeah, if we're talking about pumping and driving drill, I'm putting Bethune first.
No. I'm talking about the high school competition that they had.
I'm just saying, like what you said, is like Cedar Hill, because Cedar Hill is a hybrid school. Their show style and their they have their core values as well, their corpus value as well. So that's fine. Long as your tone's good, your show's good, your lines are hitting. I see no problem in that. I can judge that.
Right, but
then at that point I'm confused at the question is.
Right.
So what exactly is the question? Because I've been trying to process how to answer the question.
So my question is like, and I understand, like, we don't want to, because a lot of directors, have this situation to where when they get certain scores, all of a sudden they leave that, and it's like, man, them scores don't make my band, and it shouldn't make your band. But what it should be is an anchor on, making sure that your kids know that, you can go to the next level.
So, but okay, so I'm sorry, Luke, go ahead, you got it. But I just gotta say this. So
hold on, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing. I'm just saying, like, because I don't know about US bands. I mean, I've heard about it because we talked about it and everything. But I just seeing it now and not knowing that they're about to do it in the fall. I'm just hoping like they're pushing our kids to say, hey, you guys, you did your best out there, but you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah. I mean,
he don't want it to be like you just getting a participation.
No, tight. No, okay. So let me break it down to you. After the whole show is done, we bring the directors back and then we provide feedback. We give you the scores and we say, all right, you got blah 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 blah, and this is what you can do better. These are the things that you should work on. Blah 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 blah. Like, that is the conversation that we're gonna have now. The other half of what you were talking about, to me personally, sounds like a director issue. If a director is unsatisfied with their scores and they want to get pissy with the fact that they didn't do so well, then maybe you, the director, needs to get out of your feelings and look at what your kids are doing and say, hey, maybe we do need to work on this. Maybe these people are telling me something better. Because I've seen I ain't gonna say trash directors, but I've seen directors, maybe they are trash, who got scores that were well deserved and broke trophies, threw trophies, walked out of the room, man, F this, man. No, you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm letting you know now.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's basically you answer my question. Like, I just wanted to make sure, like, our kids are getting supported and everything like that. Like I said, because I'm big on that. Because I'm the same. When I judge battles, a lot of drum instructors hit me up in the inbox, say, Trice, like, I'm like, because when I judge, I write a whole bunch of comments. And if anybody know, and a lot of people could contest, I write comments as the show goes on. Because I kind of do it like in a DCI situation, like when they're on the field, and it's like, hey, right there, check that snare drum, look at his left hand. And I'm doing the same thing. It's like, hey, that section was good. On that transition, make sure everybody on the right foot. Because I want to make sure that them kids know next time, like we got to make sure we're on the right foot, not just, hey man, y'all did a hell of a show.
Which was one of the reasons why I asked that question. Have you been on a panel where they done told you, they done prepped you already? Hey, we want the scores to kind of be right here, just so next year this school will come back. Like, we've been in them type of situations.
But okay,
and that's whack.
But I just feel like this. But also we all need an area where we know in certain areas, in urban areas, where, damn, how can I say it? I'm gonna just say it. Like, systemic racism is so goddamn real to where you have schools that you want them to go out and be adjudicated, and they don't have a freaking field. Like, and that's not an excuse, because sometimes as African American we be like, well, shit, that's just the hand that was dealt to me, and then we leave it at that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the band directors such as myself and others that are hungry, that want a triangle trophy from UIL. But I know for a fact, if I take my kids, because how many of y'all know there's certain band directors can't get the field because, number one, the field is not lined, or the field got ant hills, or the football team is on it to dark, and you got to release your kids. Like,
I don't know. I feel you. I do feel you, Quan. But just when I was in the band at the same school that you at, we went through those trials and tribulations. But what our band director did was, here's some yarn. You go out there. I'm going to go buy the diesel so we can mark the field ourselves. And I've seen other schools.
Reynolds cutting grass every week when we was in our what's her name and marking lines.
I've seen other schools just use, okay, let's use another platform. Let's go to the parking lot. Okay, we use the parking lot. Let's use the baseball
watch this though.
field.
But watch this. But your parking lot only gets you to the front of the hash though.
Well, design
but you want like
around that front hash.
But guess what? Now I have to do a 5 to 7 minute show with the expectation with an adjudicator that don't know shit about my program, don't know shit about my struggle, and I got to do three specific movements on a front of the hash with
that. See that I agree with the adjudicating on that situation. That's why I made my comment about U.S. bands doing it. Like, I want to make sure that the kids really good positive constructive criticism, so our programs can get back booming, regardless if the programs are as small as our schools out here, or if they're big as Cedar Hill. I still want our kids to know that you can be constructive criticized and still be that. I don't want a situation of, oh man, they trying, Quan ain't got no field out there, let's give them 1-2-2. No, like if our kids go out there and have a meltdown, then they need to know that. I don't want, oh man, they tried their hardest, that dance routine was clean though. Come on, man, don't do us like that.
But see, the biggest difference for me, and like I said, we can agree to disagree. The difference is when you're getting adjudicated, I'm not even talking about entertaining. I'm talking about, because here's the thing. Here's one thing about a rubric. A rubric is supposed to be fair and equal to all. But nigga, that ain't even life. Like, so like, I know you could say, well, he's supposed to be cutting the grass out there. Some schools don't even have a lawnmower, and you got to buy that with the band budget. That's all I'm saying. It's like, sometimes it's not about a participation trophy, because I don't want no participation trophy. But I'd be damned if I also set my kids up for failure too. Like, as a director, because you're low-key the father or the mother of that program, you got to protect your kids sometimes. And I know for a fact, that's why, not saying all, but some people avoid UIL because, number one, and I know that sit on your record for 10 years. And if you try to go to a different situation, the first thing they say in Texas is, what are your scores, bro?
Amen.
Before anything else, they're not gonna say, okay, you was at a low socioeconomic school, you couldn't have band dues, you couldn't have this, you couldn't have that. And I know, like I say, there's like, we as African Americans, we make $1 out of 15 cents. We know that, but it gotta be some, and that's why I'm thankful for USA bands. But it gotta be some like reality of, you got people that don't have a field. There was a high school that was down here that literally had to walk down the street to go to TSU to practice in their field because they didn't even have one at the time. So that's fair. Like, that's all. That's
no. I mean, that's not fair. That's why, like I said, like, I'm hoping USA bands gets that because when we go to UIL, we don't get to go up there and tell them nothing, right? We don't get to go up there and be like, hey, bro, half my kids was failing this last 6 weeks, so they ain't been at practice. But they here now, Like we don't get to explain that. Like
We
we
don't.
don't get
And
to
then
explain like, hey, my kids got to go babysit. Hey, my kids didn't come to practice and everything like that. So
and we don't get to explain number one. So we don't get to explain number one, and then number two, they don't even know what they're looking at second.
but see, the thing about it is, some of them schools that go out there and make ones, they deal with the same stuff. I know for sure when I was at Stephen F. Austin, we dealt with that. We dealt with that too. Now their program is already running, so it's not an excuse or anything like that. And one person missing out of 175 ain't gonna make a big difference. But everybody goes to that trial and tribulation and everything like that. And that's why, I'm so supportive when I see people, like I say, one person I know that's right on the front of my head is Gary Miller over there at Royal. Like super proud of what he's doing at Royal. Like with everything that he's doing and what Royal's been doing and just busting out the mold for what their program can be regardless of the situation. Like when we knew Royal, and the people that came from Royal, they were what? Didn't know much, didn't care.
Not at all.
Not at all. But
really was people that we was like, I don't even know if we even want to deal with y'all.
But now their kids are seeing and reaping the benefits of hard work and everything in this situation, and it's like, yes, like them kids gonna get it, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what they feel look like, or regardless of anything. Like cool. Like we understand that as Black people, we got to understand that we already coming in the situation with the glass half full. So I just want to make sure that we ain't drinking dirty water and we still got water up in there, because at the end of the day, it's still gonna be water. Now, could it be tap water, or you can get some bottled water? They both probably gonna taste the same. But I just want to make, like I said, I'm not saying that USA Bands is wrong or anything, or they doing a certain situation. And I just want to make sure that our kids are getting that opportunity. So for what they're doing over there with UIL, and they feel like they're getting that opportunity, I want our kids and our coach and everything to feel just as comfortable with USA Bands. Like, man, I'm ready to go to USA Bands, man. Like, I'm ready to show them what they told us last time, and we got it fixed. Like, that's
let's make USA Band the standard now.
Yeah, like that.
But that's the thing.
The whole point.
That's the whole point.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm hoping that, because I don't, like I say, USA Bands is new to me. So like I say, I'm hoping that's a situation that's going to bring to our coach and everything like that. And then when I start looking into it and watching videos, then I want to give my utmost support. Yeah, I want to give my utmost support and everything like that.
I got you. Like I said, I you will get your feedback. We not babying nobody. It's all gonna be fair. Blah blah blah. I mean, everything across the board. Trust me, because. And I'll end it with this because we got another topic, but this was created because of the fact that people like myself and many others who are African American who participate in the state of Texas specifically have been dealing with the things that we deal with UIL and going in there the way that we go in there. This has been something that has been discussed not only by myself, not only by Rick, but also by Dr. Zachary at Prairie View. And so Eric has really done like his due diligence and just really worked at trying to make sure that this is for us and the way that we present band and how we do it, and we're judged fairly on what we do. And even based on what we do, a good sound is supposed to be a good sound at the end of the day, right? Good drill concepts are supposed to be good drill concepts, so on and so forth. And that's what is going to be judged on. And the people who are judging have an understanding for the culture, and that is what the basis of all of this is. So like I said before, everybody, if you got kids, sign your kids up, man. Do what you got to do. Be a part of this. Let's get this thing growing. We had the inaugural one last year, and it went really well. And now Eric has let us know that the Texas one is filling up now, and so we want to get the rest of those filled up. And I think there was one band there that was like 12 kids. What I forgot.
Sam Houston from San Antonio.
Yep, it was like, and they went out there, they put on a good show, they had a great time, and they got judged for it. and the judges gave them their feedback at the end of the show, and it went well. So like I said, we're inviting everybody out to do this, and it's like I said, it's for us, by us, and US bands. All right, let's keep it rolling, man. Let's do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like daddy as soon as you come into the room. If you've been watching us this whole time, Crystal has been going in the comments. So go ahead and smash that like daddy, man. Also, please make sure that you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all of your podcasts and networks. Just make sure you type in Real Talk That Talk. It'll come up for you and you can listen to it there. Just in case you miss anything at the beginning and you don't feel like going back. All right, next topic, man. Yes, Lord. All right. Have we dumbed down marching percussion? Have we?
Yes, we have. Yes.
Teddy cut the camera right back on so quick. Have we dumbed down marching percussion? Teddy, since you clicked on so quick, go ahead, brother.
You guys know how I feel about that. My answer is yes. Collectively, yes.
Are we keeping it there? That's what. No.
I mean, I can continue. I understand. There are a lot of things. I know Quan. He addressed the band director issue. I certainly acknowledge that. But the answer to the question, in my opinion, is still absolutely yes. Yes, that's exactly what has happened. This entire conversation that we've been having lets me know that the talent is there, and it has been there for decades. Guys have been at HBCUs and March DCI. The talent is there. For whatever reason, in my opinion, that doesn't always seem to translate into our shows. And I'm not exactly sure why that is, because everybody's been talking tonight about how they're anxious to incorporate a lot of what's going on at the DCI level with their students. And my hope is that begins to translate on Saturday afternoons and Saturday evenings for HBCU football games when our universities are being represented by our bands. So that would be great to see.
All right, got you. Dante, I'm talking about Cushion. Not Cushion. My bad. See, my brain is all messed up. Dante, there we go. Tay, have we dumbed down marching percussion?
Man, it's kind of hard to put a blanket answer on this, because it really depends on where you are. For example, there was just a drumline competition like a week or two ago, and dog, these lines came out here blazing, dog. Like, it was just crazy to see like the bounce back that they had after coming off this pandemic year and a half. So to give it a blanket answer like yes or no, I can't do it. To Teddy's point though, I get what you're saying, especially on the college level. I don't know if it's that groups are dumbing down marching percussion rather than they just won't evolve. They're so stuck in tradition, and afraid, like my man said from Smash Time, that it's gonna be lame. You know what I mean? That they just won't evolve, man. And it always goes down to this. That's not what we do. I think that phrase right there, man, is the hindrance of all lines. That's not what we do. But yeah, as far as it being dumbed down now, but you gotta give your percussion some. You gotta make them better musicians, man. And when I say that, it's got to be more than just feeling like just the drum set. Like, they have to do things that are incorporated in the melodic lines within the winds. That's going to help. They got to put some chops. They got to put some level of difficulty in the playing, especially on the field, especially with the full band songs. And in some areas, it's just not happening.
I would almost argue that probably is a problem with us, period. When we go around, period, and just saying they ain't what we do, so I ain't gonna do it. I don't know, that may just be a us problem. But I've even seen a band do that before. I know that when we had our high school band day, I think it was at PV. I think it was either 2012 or 2013. It was a high school band that showed up, and the drum majors, you know, we were playing swamp, and the drum majors were doing the little swamp joint, and the drum majors from that particular school was like, that ain't what we do, so we ain't doing it. And the whole band was like, we good. Like, I just think that's lame, period. From just a period standpoint, I think that's just lame, but that's just my personal opinion. Quan, have we dumbed down marching percussion?
I think speak about Tay's sentiments, I would have to agree. There's a yes and no pending your region. First of all, I'm going to speak about what I've experienced as a director. You have to dumb down some things to a degree. It's because you always getting beginners every year. And so as a director, what people fail to realize, when you constantly getting beginners every year, not being ugly, if you not on your chops, guess what? Like, your chops is at beginning level too, because you're constantly teaching that. Now you can perfect the beginning aspects of it, but think about it like this: when you're in sixth grade and that student, you know, selects percussion, and they start off on those two mallets, that bell kit or whatever, and then they go to, you know, their sticks and whatnot. They don't have Ralph Hardimans. They have two B-side sticks with their little packet kit with their mallets and, you know, the timpani mallet pack, so forth and so on. You go from there, you transition, and then the rhythm reading gets harder, so forth and so on. Once they hit ninth grade, they doing two mallets. By the time they get sophomore year, we talking about timpanis, multi-percussion, 4 mallets by the time they graduate. That's the ideal situation, right? Most of these people you see now, as a freshman or sophomore, they walk in and be like, say, bro, I want to play. Well, what do you want to play? I mean, it don't matter. And honestly, because you're trying to build your program, you just put them where you need to see fit. And you're trying to teach them how to read if they're in your class due to scheduling issues, if you can see them after school because of the various things that you have to deal with at sometimes urban schools or low socioeconomic schools. When you deal with all that, bro, now it's not an excuse, but it's a form of reality. You're trying to push and cram 4 years, or really 7 years of teaching in 2 years for a percussion student, for them to truly be an adequate person. And if they really want to do that as well, if they, you know, trying to be a decent percussionist. But like Tay said, they also got some drum lines like I look at Atlanta Drum Academy, outstanding kids. But you see them kids reading on their, you know, they're kneeling while they're playing, reading specific, you know, 16 note patterns and whatnot, because they're hungry to do it. But they have a culture around them that they want to read, they want to be the best, and different things like that. But I just feel like, not just from a marching percussion aspect, but percussion has been dumbed down because we always have to rebuild. Think about if you had a percussion instructor there 4 years that transitions from the middle school and then go to the high school. That's the big difference, bro. Like, you can see the fruits of your labor from that. You can truly have a percussion ensemble in high school when it's structured like that. I always go back to structure. I always go back to, you know, your infrastructure. What is your middle school doing? And then at the middle school level, sometimes some of us, we have traditional drum lines at the middle school level, and all they doing is beating the hell out the drum. And then when you try to put some notes in front of them, they be like, say, bro, I really ain't want to do that either. So now I got to fight with the kid about learning how to read music. So it's just a lot. So yes and no, bro, depending on where you at.
Hey, I'd have to say Dante definitely changed my point of view, but I gotta stand how I feel. Because when he was talking, what he said, it was like everything I was gonna say. I was like, damn, bro, he right. You know what I mean? But I gotta stick with what I'll say. And I'll say, you know, have we dumbed down marching percussion as in the structure? Absolutely. 100% yes. But I still gotta, you know, add what he's saying. The reason why I say that is number one, 4 points. It's the lack of knowledge from percussion instructors. Many schools that I've seen, college, high school, you know, let's be honest. If you don't have that proper type of degree and or knowledge, you're not going to have that money there to where you can sacrifice to be that percussion instructor, to travel with them, to do minor applied, major applied. If you're on a college level, if you're on a high school level, you know, what is that supplement looking like? Because I don't know any drum instructor who wouldn't want to do that full time. They're like, man, bump being a manager, bump working at a gas station. I want to put all my time into this, but you can't. You got to work your 9 to 5 and then get off and then try to make it up there to the school. And then if you make it up there to the school, you're not at 8th or 9th period. So you're already losing a lot of the interest from the kids. But the lack of percussion instructor comes in. A lot of the guys who are percussion instructors at these institutions is just kind of like as a fill-in. They weren't the truth in the first place. They just the ones who happen to take this gig and just take it on. And it's like, you know, when you talk to somebody, like, oh yeah, I know him. I mean, he was like the 4th string snare when I was marching, but he over that school now, and I'm glad he's doing something. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is it's a loss of interest. I know up here in Columbus, Ohio, man, you sports. If you want to go to the league and any type of thing, I'm telling you, this is the place to be. Just like the South and many other places, but I can speak from here. Just example, Ohio State, you good. Man, we got all types of AAU coaches that's going to come back. Hell, I almost went to college for wrestling. That's how good I was because I had coaches in place to really take that serious. And I know many of you can attest to this, you see that 10th grader, he comes in, he's really not interested. But you, as a person, you spark him to be like, yo, I want to drum. And then now you're fighting with him drumming, but he's also in the streets. Or now you fighting with him and drumming, but he ain't got no right home. His parents really ain't doing right. So now they lose that lack of interest. And I know that even goes outside. I know band directors, they can attest that's trumpet players, tuba players. That's just band, period. And so they kind of lose that lack of interest because those drum instructors that's there trying to set that example is really not coming through. I can't even tell you how many, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard this too. I can't even tell you how many kids that's told me like, hey man, hey Woods, you was the one that made me take drumming serious. I seen how I came in on your breaks and you was just in there just drumming. You was just authentically teaching us how to read music. And you suckered us in with the tricks and everything, but then you was like, all right, this is a 16th note. All right, this is what it takes to get this tool. All right, this is what you need to do to go here, and all right, you know your arpeggios. What's that? Let me teach you. And so I think when kids start to lose interest because they're gonna pick up that basketball quick. And if they run off with it, I'm okay with it, but just follow that. If you're gonna do that, go hard, but I also have something over here that I can give you and you can take and go get a full scholarship. Everybody that's going to Penn State and Tennessee State and Florida University on the basketball team, they ain't trying to go to the league. They just trying to get their college paid for. Now, if they get drafted, absolutely, I'm going to take that. But if we're just trying to give them something that they can take, and run with it. Another reason that percussion is dumbed down because the drum instructors and a lot of the drum lines, especially when it comes to competitions, we're catering to the wrong crowd. I no longer care if we're playing upside down and you're on the snare and you see that. Yeah, it adds to it, but you're not playing for the judges. You're playing strictly for the crowd. I feel like the only time you should play for a crowd as a drum line is in the stands. And you're playing that traditional cadence that has a lot of flashes, got a lot of chants, and you coming back from homecoming, oh yeah, I'm Morehouse 1992. I remember they used to do this cadence and you're still doing it. Yeah, play for the crowd. But now you're getting judged. There should be no reason why you're not focusing on musicality and stick heights. And like we all was talking about earlier, a good drum instructor is going to go, because I do it all the time. All right, this is a competition. This ain't no showcase. All right, what's the rubric? What we getting judged by? What is it that you all are looking at? SWAC, MEAC, Tennessee State is in a different conference and all that. I don't know, not one person, DCI, not one drum line is not ever not getting judged on stick height. That's a non-negotiable. That is a non-negotiable. So when you hit that picture, like right here in this pause, and you got 12 snares and the stick height is at that 3, but you got that one up at that 12, then we can judge. And so I think a lot of drum lines are not really catering towards the proper judgment at the time. They don't know how to really take themselves out and be like, man, I don't care what the alumni want to hear. I don't care what the school want to hear. We getting judged. This is grant money, or this is competition. We getting judged on, make sure, even if we do have a low sound with those bass drums, but do they all sound the same? Even if everybody has those, we got our Z's that we playing. Like Norfolk is a great example, and they're not the only ones that do it. They don't really emphasize on flashing. They be, man, how you run with cymbals? They be doing tunnel runs with the Z's. People are listening to that. And so, okay, now I can judge you on that. And so, and lastly, the material, I think this is my biggest thing, my biggest issue all across the board with HBCU drum lines, Division 1, Division 2, not everybody, but it's too many to try to pick one out. Material is not authentic no more. I promise people literally man, we got an 8-hour bus ride. Hey, we're going to play this, and then you play that. And then it's just being put out. There's no conversation in the rudiments. And again, it's not everybody. But what I've been hearing mostly recently, I can't name a school, I can't name a conference, just overall, it's not really authentic material. It's not really people utilizing the sound that they have. It's not really everyone using, you have 4 to 5 tunnels and everybody's still playing a unison part. Why are y'all not using them? Y'all have the 6 tuplets and all you doing is playing triplets and then going down. It's like there's no real, it's no meat. It's like we're gonna do 1, 2, ready, play. And then we're gonna play at piano. We're gonna play this for 4 bars. Then that 8th bar is gonna be a forte. And then we're gonna stop and then everybody do a solo. I hate to say it, and shout out to Tyler Perry because I love his work, but it's like Tyler Perry cadences. It's just, let's just throw it out there. And that's really hard for me to say because at the end of the day, Tyler Perry's still providing for the community and he's still doing this. But I think y'all know what I'm saying. It's like, we want the Jim Carrey movies. What happened to the Denzel cadences? What happened to the, it's like, no one is, I watch cadences on the swag side, and not everybody who is in the swag is actually swag, but you know how we do, we still time into there. I listen to a 1, 2, ready, play, predictable, and bump. I knew that was coming. I watch some MEAC schools, and again, everyone is not in the MEAC, such as like CIAA, they kind of get put in that, but I watch it. It's tap, tap, spree, real low and stop, tunnel run and stop. And you like, I knew that was gonna happen, and I've never heard this cadence before. Now again, I cannot say everyone, but there is a lot of schools who is still pushing the envelope and they still put in that work. But overall, I don't know if it's just a thing to where, okay, well, our bass drums wasn't at practice last week. Hey, play this. You got it? All right, y'all play this. All right, it's a cadence. What the hell? So to me, that is the 4 things that's really stopping everything. And that's what's dumbing down percussion. And, especially when you got those, and lastly, when you got those percussion instructors, I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of percussion instructors are coming in and they really don't understand percussion. And I hate when people say, oh, your drum line is raw. But when I watch the tape, the only thing that I see is, oh, they got good snare players. That's not a good drum line. I can't stand it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you watch it and you be like, oh, he got a cold quarterback and a running back. Man, you ain't got no line to block for him, though. So how many points are you really going to score? You know what I mean? It's like the forefront gets thrown off. That's, and I know y'all can interject with it. I can't stand it no matter where you at. You got a cold snare line, so automatically you just the mandingo. We the DRUMLine. We did. No, it's not that.
It's like the
That's
Dallas
my
Cowboys,
brand.
ain't it, Paul?
What do you say?
I said it's like the Dallas Cowboys, ain't it? Cold QB.
You know what? Hey, whoa.
But I agree with everybody saying, and I think the main view is percussion instructor. Like we got to stop. We got to get the right person for the position, and then to feed into that, we got to stop thinking that just because that person went to that school that he knows what's best, because somebody else just. I mean, if we're waiting, let's just say me and Quan both got our masters. If we're waiting to get that position at PV, I mean, our instructor's been up there since 1976.
He ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere. And Luke will tell you, and he probably can outrun everybody on this screen. And he's not going nowhere. And I've never seen a piece of paper with his name on there that's written out or anything. Now we did some stuff in the avenues of percussion that he likes, but when it comes to percussion and everything like that, like we got to get the people out here that's pushing. It shouldn't be like Dr. Lawhorn is at NCAT, but he's from Prairie View. It shouldn't matter, and I really don't like that about our community, that we only got to get from our school. I wouldn't care if TSU called me or Grambling called me or or Alabama State was like, we need you to come down here and get our line and whoop up in shape, because we all got this we all got this thing that they're gonna come down here and change us. No, because a real percussion instructor wouldn't know what to do in that avenue. I'm not coming down there to change you. I'm coming down there to take anything that they feel like that you're not reaching your potential with. I'm here to make sure that you get there.
But Larry, so I agree with everything you say, but isn't that kind of hypocritical? Because then the first thing we say is once we get a new person on staff, they're gonna be like, oh, he about to change something. It ain't the same like it used to be. And that's the first gripe that alumni say. Like you and I know, like when it was a transition of administration at Prairie View, everybody from even the alumni was like, man, it ain't gonna be the same, and they gonna change this. So, but then when we hire somebody else, so it's like I agree, they should hire people that's outside, because sometimes that outside person sees something different.
And my thing is, like I said, that's when it comes to us in tradition. Some stuff shouldn't be touched, but it should be elevated. The same thing that Brian said. Some things should be elevated. We can't go out there and be playing 8 on the hand and be like, yep, old heads love that 8 on the hand. Nah, bro, let's do 8 on the hand, and then let's do some, let's add a groove up in there. It's the same thing. Y'all can still, and it's like that. It's just the elevation from it.
Changed it. I agree with what you're saying, but like I think like as African Americans, we have a hard time with transitions, and so because of that, you could say, well, yeah, I mean, add a groove to it, but it's just like Luke has said this on this podcast that one time they took I think PVU or Entertainment Tonight out, they got phone calls from the president.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so yeah. So, but what if they would have added something else that would have been a different spark to it?
So what if they add the PV, like how they do it when they do the PVAMU? I'm fine with that. Still PV. At the end of the day, I mean, I don't get into semantics of that, because at that situation, that's just one avenue of music. And if you get that judgmental over one avenue, which is marching band, like my thing is just like Dr. Zach came in there and y'all mad at the marching band. You don't see what's going on in the music department, huh? You ain't say nothing about that. Oh, I'm just talking about the marching storm. Now forget all that, because at the end of the day, we're not bringing kids up here just to be marching storm. We want them to be successful citizens into the world. And if you're not about that, then you're not looking out for the best interests of this program, because we're trying to keep every kid in here, not keep every kid in here blowing on the horn and then they here for 8 years.
I think that just as far as are we dumbing down marching percussion? Like, let's just stay with marching percussion. And honestly, I keep hearing the instructor, when really, and I think my man Brian said this, on the last episode, really the lines are student driven. Like, I didn't need Prof. Jones or anybody to come and spoon feed me a part, or hey, read this, or hey, do this or do that. Like, no, it was really what we wanted to do. As far as dumbing it down, and okay, just kind of going through what everybody said. I was listening to Quan where he said, well, you know, we have to dumb it down because we continue to get beginners. Cool, you're gonna get beginners at the beginning of the year or whenever. But you know, a month from that first time I done walked into that band room, I need to see something different. Like push the envelope. You know, that's kind of like what I feel. I feel like a lot of lines are not pushing the envelope. They stand in that tradition. Hey, we normally do this. We do it like this. Like, nah, push the envelope. And then it's as far as like playing wise, I think drum lines have actually, you know, enhanced what they're playing, because now everybody is just cramming so many beats inside of one measure to where you can't hear the conversation. So it's kind of like an overload on in some aspects.
But see, that takes a percussion instructor knowing that, because we go through arranging and we know all that. And so now some people, like when we talked about, when Tay was talking about, and you know, he was like, you know, I was writing all this stuff. Some people had a gift, but that ain't the situation at every school. And we definitely
Now what I can say is, you know, where your percussion instructor should kind of, you know, help out or put his hands in the pot is when, you know, he definitely should be a different set of eyes. Hey, you know what? Maybe you should change this, add this. But again, do your thing, because at the end of the day, the percussion instructor is not on the field marching.
Mm-hmm.
You on the field marching. Like whenever I had the opportunity to work with a line, I never had to, hey, we're gonna play this because I made it up because I'm the instructor. Really, help me help you. Show me what you already got. Okay, let's hear it. You know what? Let's kind of dissect it. Let's take this out, add this in to where, you know what? Now your line, it's not you just pushing the line to another level. It's them elevating themselves.
Well,
you know, make the job easier on yourself.
Well, I'll say this, and I'll be quiet after this. But one thing that we do that I don't prefer at in regards to HBCUs, we have our same set of warm-ups, we have our same set of cadence lists or whatnot, because that's our quote unquote tradition. When in our actual
who sets that though? Why
the tradition the tradition does.
But again, that's something that I don't know. It takes the right kind of leader to want to move your line or make your line do something different. When I was section leader, couldn't nobody come in there and tell me how to paint my picture. Like I'm gonna take your suggestions, and you know what? It's gonna be some traditional things that we're gonna do, but for the most part, this is what we plan, and this is how we gonna play it. And as long as we look like the standard, look like our tradition, then yes. But
I mean, if you look across HBCUs, because we don't write it for the most part, you're going to repeat it. Because if not, you're going to forget it. And if you try to bring it back and it's wrong, that's going to be a whole nother issue. What I was basically going to say was, what I wish we could really do, because you have a different line every year, most people real talk write warm-ups and cadences for that specific line. Because if you actually, like, in I'm gonna say for like Dante and Brian, if you had music like field show music as a percussionist, your warm-ups will really talk will align to whatever that field show music is. That's what it's supposed to be.
But I think what a percussion instructor could do, if we just talking about warm-ups, you know what? We got this new cadence that the student made up. It got, you know, it's heavy on the, you know, left hand flams or Swiss Army. So you know what? I'm gonna make a warm up geared around Swiss Armies or left hand flams. Like,
but that's what you're supposed to do.
You gotta have the mindset.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But you have to have the mindset to think outside of the box versus somebody having to tell you to do everything. Don't spoon feed me shit. Like,
but average percussion instructor ain't doing that.
I don't think that's spoon feeding. I think that's our job. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's because
most percussion instructors now, Most of them. I'm not gonna say all. Most of them is, you know what? I wrote this. We're playing this. This is how we're gonna play it. This versus your students never really grow because they're always being taught what you wrote versus give them their own lane to let them make up whatever it is they want to make up, and then you come and fine tune it. Be the engineer of it. Be the Puff Daddy of it. Puff Daddy.
But see,
Probably
the thing
can't
about
play shit on the piano, but he know what a hit sound like.
and I agree with that, but you got to have a well-oiled machine before you can do that. I'm not at my school. Like, I'm not giving my kids, like, they're going to try, but I'm not giving them the opportunity to do something and they haven't been taught. Like I say, or they don't know what all goes into that. I mean, they might see a video. That's like a little picture I seen where, you know, it's a little white kid that's jumping over steps where it says, you know, rudiments and all this other stuff to stick tricks.
I think that's where you come in as an instructor to say,
see,
hey,
like you said, but see that it all comes back to that instructor. Like they said, it's like I would write another. I would once I see in the summer what my kids looking like over the stuff that we already do. It's just basic packet, right? And then I see I need to write this for my kids because they're gonna need it. I got some weak left hands up in here. Let me go ahead and write this warm up for this left hand up in here and everything like that. We don't go into it like that. It's like, no, we got to learn what we got to learn because that's what we got to learn because that's what we got to learn. And we're gonna keep learning it, and then we're gonna add some extra to it. But if a percussion came in there, like I say, I don't feel like that should be all on the kids. Like I say, Dante is an anomaly. All right. And some of the people at PV were an anomaly. But just think about if we had it the right way on these programs that are prospering because they had that person there doing that situation. And I'm going to be honest, like at Southern Miss, that Southern Miss is just like that. They were only playing what Doc wrote. And a lot of kids did not agree with that. And then I wrote like a little simple groove and they thought that was the most killingest stuff ever. And I'm like, I'm just trying to give y'all something a little different. It seemed like, you know, y'all, you know, wasn't
over 20 years, that means you'll have damn near a solution to every problem that you'll have pending the line.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I think if
hold up right quick,
think
Cushion, you last one final thought on this, and then we got to get rolling.
Am I waiting or go?
No, go. You good?
Okay, I just think if you take that Laker approach, that Phil Jackson approach, that Pat Riley approach, who they weren't great players, but they were great coaches because they let their players do what it was they needed to do. Yes, they had a system, but at the same time, let a player be a player. Like, and again, just kind of give them those little nuggets that's gonna keep them pressing, you know what I'm saying, pushing the envelope. And the other thing that I heard Paul say, stick height is universal and playing is universal. There's one thing that I took this from Tashlin. But whenever we watch any clips on YouTube or Facebook, we look at them without the sound. I watch them first, and once I can just kind of look at the line and tell if I even want to listen to it or not, just based off of how they look. But again, it takes that instructor or that section leader to be able to take that constructive criticism and really do the homework and, look at your line, step back and look at your line and see what your line is doing. What is your line lacking? How can we change the game? Can we add some more beats? Can we, I just think it's as far as playing wise, I think people are pushing the envelope. Creativity, I think that's where we're dumbing it down. And then also who is in charge of what? I think that's another reason. That's another thing that we're dumbing down. Is it the instructor's job for the material? Is it the student? Is it like the shit shouldn't be that hard?
All right, cool. All right, let's wrap up that that topic. I told you we ain't staying here for no 5 hours. So we got one more topic. We're gonna make this joint a lightning round. But real quick, let me go ahead and do it from the top. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Dang, I ain't even hit welcome. My bad. All right. Also, please make sure you go ahead and smash that like daddy while you're in here. If you're reading, if you're in the comment section, if you've been watching from the beginning to end, go ahead and smash that like daddy. If you just walked in here, smash the like daddy as soon as you come in. Just click on out. You'll be all right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up tomorrow on all your podcasts and networks. Just go to any of your search engines and type in Real Talk That Talk, and you will find us. All right. Before we get to the Paul, where you from? I gotta ask that question.
Columbus, Ohio.
Ohio, okay. Because the way you said envelope was very, very hilarious.
I said envelope or
envelope.
I was kind of raised in West Virginia too, so I got a little,
Got you. I got you. Yeah, when you said that, I just couldn't stop laughing. All right, here we go. Here's the lightning round, man. Are we preparing our young musicians for concert percussion from a macro perspective? I'm not talking about what you guys typically or want to do within your classrooms, but from a totality and macro perspective. Are we preparing our young musicians for concert percussion from a macro perspective? Lightning round. Quan, go for it.
No.
Larian.
Hell no.
Cushion.
Not enough. No.
Tay.
I'm with Kush, man. Not enough. Not enough.
All right, Paul.
I'm there. Not enough. I third that.
All right, Teddy.
No.
All right, so
I swear I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, over here on the East Coast, we definitely got our kids ready, because we push the envelope when it comes to playing,
But it's still relative, bro. It's still relative, dog.
And it's like, I think we said that because we know we are, but then we also thought about it like, oh, I could be doing more. Never mind. Yeah, I think that's why I know that's why I said it.
But we get into bigger issues, man. Like I've been listening to this episode and the previous percussion episode, and it's so much deeper than what we're saying. So I think it was a couple people that kind of came on last time, and we're talking about middle school, and I think that's the basis of where a lot of our issues are happening. That back of the room syndrome, man. Like that joint kills us. And then also like when we said the not enough thing. I'll use my program as an example, man. When I first, I hate to throw my school under the bus. We making some changes, but I gotta talk about how it was when I first got there, yo. When I first got there was a xylophone that was completely taken apart, and it was used as the flag, like the auxiliary. They had like their flags in the frame of the xylophone on the floor in front of the band room. The bars right? Full of dust, spiders, whatever. There's one other xylophone, right? That one was put together, and that was it, dog. That was all of the melodic percussion, minus the timpani. So
you got to think about you got to think about it like this, though. Again, now this is where we can start getting into the instructors and what the instructors are really about, and most of the times when you go, at least down here in Texas, majority of the instructors that we have are, people that's really trying to relive their marching days, and marching percussion was the only thing that they focused on. Versus now in, just on this panel, it's people in here that, that are just pure percussionists across the board. So this panel right here, and a couple people that's in the comments, they're gonna push, concert band and UIL and solo ensemble and expose their kids to all these different platforms versus somebody that just wants to play 2 and 4. I just want to be a tenor drummer. I just want to be a bass. Like, you got to be for real. These are the people that's running lines now.
I'm gonna say this too, and I'm gonna say this not as the percussionist. I'm gonna say this as just the band director, and then I'm gonna let Quan go very quickly. But the thing that I've realized too is that while homogeneous classes is something that a lot of us grew up in, as of now, I just don't think that they're as successful as they need to be. I think that heterogeneous classes are well, no, I apologize. Let me. We grew up in heterogeneous, but I think that we need to be in more homogeneous classes, because of the fact that we need to be able to give a little bit more attention to these specific instruments. I've seen the success on both sides of the story and both sides of the spectrum. I've been able to work in a situation where it was more homogeneous, and I've seen how the kids developed a lot faster and they felt a lot better about playing their instruments because you were directly focused on them. But I've also been an educator in a heterogeneous classroom where Lil Johnny's messing up on playing his saxophone note, and the percussion is sitting back there trying to figure out what they need to do. Then they just start beating on everything, and then all of a sudden they get lost in the sauce, and then you trying to help the little trumpet play over here and the trombone over there, and then the clarinet ain't got their reed turned right because they got the whole reed messed up and the ligature upside down, and then the percussion is sitting back there like, all right, bro, like what we doing? Like then they start beating on stuff and then fighting each other and then start kicking each other in the nuts. I mean, it's like, I think that unfortunately, heterogeneous classes just don't work anymore. The sad part about that is in most urban inner city, so low socioeconomic areas, you're not going to get the ability to have a homogeneous class. They're going to throw kids in your class and say, make it work. Even starting from that middle school perspective, I really believe, and I will 100% agree all the time when Quan says this, it's definitely an infrastructure problem. It is a problem where we're not setting the kids up for success because we're not starting them in the time that we need to start them in the situation they need to be started in. What we do is they need to take these quote unquote middle school college classes, which makes absolutely no sense, or they need to have this class, or they need to have this class. No, it's just banned. So if we need to pull them out, we'll pull them out or whatever. And then, or they just don't take it, or they sign up for it and they never get it, and they end up in art, and then they get to high school and they like, well, I want to be in the band now. It's all these different facets that typically happen in the urban areas that are very, very big disadvantages to band directors and music students. So when it comes to the percussion side of things, absolutely, I think that there needs to be homogeneous education that is happening on the music education side, and it really needs to be happening across the board. Unfortunately, that's not what's happening. But Quan, go ahead.
At the bottom line, bro, we're doing a disservice. Like, for those that are not trying, we're doing a disservice. I'm gonna tell you why. At the end of the day, there are specific lessons as grown men on this panel that we learn later in life that we wish that we could have learned earlier. The truth is, when we do a disservice to our student is when we focus on marching band so much to where we just disregard concert season and the arts of concert percussion, to where at the end of the day, what we do is we're not even preparing them to be well-rounded. Now, earlier we was talking about culture vultures and why things got to be black and white. To a degree, not being ugly. When our counterparts look at us and you don't even know how to play a tambourine right, or if you don't know how to hit a triangle right, and those different things, and then they look at you like, so what are they teaching you? And I ain't trying to be funny. The worst thing in the world, real talk, because as African Americans, we know that we don't just represent ourselves, but we represent our university, we represent where we come from, we represent our household, so forth and so on. So we don't want to be that one that be like, oh, you the one that graduated from Prairie View, and then your kid don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. And what was your principal instrument? And we get questions like that. So you telling me you setting up that kid for that? But then you back door take a step further, not being ugly. Look at some of these universities' requirements for percussion. Whole different story and conversation. So that's all I'm saying. It's like we could say all of this, but at the end of the day, it's like we have sometimes a lack of respect for the art. I've been guilty of this myself because it's like we just want to save the kids' lives. And sometimes that's the mindset. Well, I'm going to just try to get you up the street. That's cool. But in the midst of getting them out of the street, when they say, hey, well, at the end of the day, I want to go to college. And if somebody's interested in going to a PWI, we didn't even prepare them for it. So now you have a select few of schools that you have to go to because it's like, you really possibly couldn't make it at that line because this is what they're doing. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like we doing this, we doing a disservice, and that's the middle school area. That's the high school level. And then once we get to the collegiate level, some of these percussion instructors and applied teachers, they're not doing nothing. So when you graduate, you're only going to teach what you know. Why? Because that's all you know.
Had to hit my unmute button. Yeah, man. 100%. I can't disagree with that. All right. That was a lightning round, man. We done. Look at that. And ain't nobody come in today. So we good. Ain't nobody. I put the link in there like 4-5 times. If you ain't clicked that link by now, it's tight. All right. But so let's get ready to go ahead and shut this down, man. We made it. It wasn't 5 hours, but it was definitely a great show, man. Y'all definitely gave a lot of great information, brothers. I definitely appreciate every single one of y'all, man. Y'all have educated a lot of people who are listening, a lot of people who will be blasting this out, a lot of people who are going to be on the podcast. So I appreciate every single one of y'all, brothers, man. 100%. Go ahead, Cushion.
Brian, I sure was waiting for you to get ignorant with the whole. I'm telling you, I was so prepared for you today.
No, we needed it though. You know what I'm saying?
No. My not you, Tay. My boy Brian. I was waiting on him to get loose. Man, I wanted you to get loose.
You know what, Dante Harris. So I saw it on your face, man, and I wanted to give you what you wanted, but I said not tonight. Not tonight. I really wanted to listen, and the reason why is because I heard a lot of great stuff. Yeah. And to be honest with you guys, you know, I didn't expect to hear a lot of the things that I heard tonight. And you know, during our first panel, you know, in my personal opinion, it was a complete, you know, reversal from the beginning of the stuff that we were saying. You know, towards the end, you guys, in my opinion, started saying a lot of the same stuff that I was saying before. So I think there's more similarities in all of our mindsets than there are differences. And maybe that comes out, you know, different ways and all that kind of thing. But I really think that there's more that we have in common than we do, you know, than we disagree on. So I feel you. I know you're prepared for the fireworks. Honestly, I really just wanted to listen. I commend everybody, you know, all 5 of you guys, you know, Julian as well, because there was some good stuff that was said tonight that I really 100% agree with. The only thing that I just want to see it translate, you know, into all of our respective conferences. That's all. I just want to see it translate. That's all.
And I will say this, like I always say, this is what this show was about, right? Because there was a difference of opinion, and then all of a sudden there was a mutual ground and understanding. And this is what I do this every Wednesday for, because I think that that's what's happening in the community at large. And so we just gonna keep having these conversations, man. And like I said, I appreciate every single one of you brothers on the panel. So before we get out of here, let me do it the right way. Let's end it correctly. So I'll start with Dante. Tay, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Honestly, man, not much, y'all. I think we kind of hit the nail on the head tonight, y'all. Not too much from me, man. Everybody just keep grinding. And let's do our part to continue to push the band culture at large forward.
All right, respect. Paul, Mr. Envelope. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, bro?
Nah, for sure, man. My final thoughts is just, you know, just kind of take it day by day, especially to the, you know, the drum instructors or the musical instructors that may be listening. Just make sure you're taking in and not sacrificing musicality. Definitely, you know, do what you got to do to uplift your students, or if you're in, you know, college and you got college students, do what you got to do. Just don't sacrifice musicality. Just understand whatever you pushing off and you doing what's right, it's going to come back around to them. So keep on doing your thing. Hold it down like pants.
I ain't never heard that one. Teddy, man, any final thoughts, man? Anything you got for the culture?
Well, I had to come behind that, man. That's what's up, Paul. Man, I agree. Guys, continue to, you know, push the musicality forward. You know, at the end of the day, everybody, all of our HBCU have talented students. These guys can play, and they will play whatever we tell them to play. So, you know, it's our job as leaders, and even as, you know, alumni, to, you know, set the pace for what's acceptable. And what should be acceptable is continuing to push musicality and push these kids to new heights, so that they can do the same, you know, reach back and do the same for the guys that come after them. So I just continue to push things forward.
Bet. Cushion, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, bro?
Yeah, I appreciate everybody on the panel. I appreciate platforms like this to platforms that give the percussionists a voice. If I could suggest something, I think this should be done at least once a month. Quan, make that happen. Stay in their ears about it, and yeah, I think you just pop your head up. Stay in their ears about it. We're not the stepchildren of the music world. We're the rock stars. Nah, but again, I appreciate everything that everybody said. Um, and just like my man Brian said, just keep pushing forward. You know, keep it moving. I need everybody that's on this panel. I need your lines or your school to be in Billion Pair of Sticks Club apparel. Let's figure it out. You know. But hey, this was dope. Let's do it again. Part 3. Said it.
All right. Larry, any final thoughts, anything you got for the culture?
And I just hope that, I know we all have, on what we're talking about, but I just hope, people are actually taking our word and actually, putting it into action. All right. And it takes a humble person to admit to themselves, I'm not doing what I need to do for these kids. Let me ask somebody. You don't have to pull it, and you can ask somebody, hey, what should I be doing? Or anything like that. A lot of people hit me up. Percussion instructors, drum instructors, you name it. Like I say, I'm always down to talk about anything and just helping out. That's why I feel personally, why I felt when I went and got my master's. Like, I feel like, because we don't have a lot of people going out there, and going that extra route, especially in uncharted territories. A lot of people get the opportunities to go back to the alma maters and get masters. We wasn't, me and Quan didn't have that, that situation. So we had to go, elsewhere to get our knowledge. And so we just want to make sure that, our kids are in great hands and everything like that. And like, Brian, like Tay, like, keep pushing, man. Like, just because you don't have a great drumline don't mean that you don't got great percussionists. We need to stop we need to break the stigma of, if we don't have a good drumline, then our kids ain't crap. That's BS. Because I can honestly say that my drumline ain't the coldest, but I got a guy last year played trumpet. This is his first year he plays tenor drum. He's the only kid in my drumline that's going to state on a snare drum solo. So we got to get out of that facet that, oh, my drumline ain't crap, so I'm just not gonna care this year. No, this is the best time for you to get everybody on their foundations and to get everybody in that room and be like, hey, this is a B flat scale. Because at that point they don't have anything to talk about. They not, they ain't kicking nobody behind. All right, so let me kick your behind in these scales. All right, so let's not judge our kids off of what all they can do in marching band. We need to make sure that our kids are well rounded, that they can go out there and then they can basically, big our name up for them going out there and doing the same thing, being taught the right way, or being, taught how to be, a musician, not just a drummer, not just a true musician. And so they can get the respect, and then we can get the respect. We talked about everybody wanting their kudos. You got to do things the right way to get the kudos the right way as well. You can't do stuff the wrong way and then get mad when you don't get the respect for it. It is what it is. And sometimes you do stuff the right way and you don't get respect at all. But at the end of the day, your actions are going to show in your kids. And that goes a long way. So, keep pushing your kids. It might seem tough. I had kids today that told me that they had to go babysit. I got some in everywhere and, and all this other stuff. But man, like I say, you owe it to them to give them the right musicianship and to give them the right teaching.
All right. Quan, any final thoughts, anything you got for the culture, bro?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think I and I say this sincerely, I love each and every one of you brothers on this call, because you're in the fight. I may not have met you personally, but we in the same trenches. We fight about a lot of stuff, bro. Let's fight for the right thing. Like we're told, we bicker about swag and different conferences, but if we're not fighting to truly teach Black and brown kids and make the playing field fair, it's like, I'm just to the point right now where it's like, shut up, bro. Like we got to get past style, genres, all of that. It should be, let me write this material because it pushes the culture forward to be well balanced at the end of the day. But we got to get. I think Prof Hopkins came on and he said something that was prolific. He said we major in minor things, and I think that's across the board for our perception of music education when it comes to us and our culture. We say we love our culture, but yet and still we have to push and want. We have to push the envelope, like we've basically stated, but we also have to ensure that we respect the craft for what it is. If we don't want to sit at nobody else's table, make your own table, but make sure your table's sturdy. That's it.
Absolutely, man. And then for me, man, I'm just gonna say once again, man, I appreciate everybody for showing up, man. Doing this final percussion episode. Nah, we might do it, man. Me and Quan will talk about it, bro. And then also, man, Cushion, send me something, bro. 2X, I got you. All right. Also next week we'll be talking.
It's going down. I got you.
No doubt, no doubt. Next week we'll be talking Greeks. All right, so make sure y'all tune in for that. And then finally, if you don't know anything about it, make sure that you go to Passion is online and pick up all your Talk That Talk merch. Remember, use the code HBCU band and you get 30% off your purchase. Other than that, man, this has been a great episode, man. I will see you guys, or we will see you guys. Well, not them, but me and Quan and the rest of the panel. We'll be back next week. Maya will be back next week. She better be. I'm gonna call her. All right. Anyway, we will be back next week on Wednesday. Other than that, man, we will see you guys next Wednesday. Appreciate it. See y'all later.